and free meals and stuff like that. That's something? Oh, it's his own podcast. I thought it was like a big deal.
Why? Where'd you see that?
Somebody, it's on the internet.
Oh.
It's on a place where you don't go.
Okay.
The internet's. Anyway, Tom Jicha writes in the Sun-Sentinel yesterday, what a jackass you are, Tom. You're such a quizzling man. And it's so obvious, too. Post-Wilma news coverage turns TV into a radio star. And the whole day, he writes a lot of words and doesn't really say anything about how the TV people hyperventilate, and we didn't have to see them because nobody had any power. They had no TV, so we didn't have to see them standing out getting blown away in a hurricane. But that they did a phenomenal job. They worked exhausting shifts for days on end, and without radio partners to deliver their work, the TV people would have been shouting into the wind because nobody had TV, and about how the radio stations passed along all this information, thanks to TV. He doesn't mention the fact that some of the radio stations, including us and IOD, had our own people on the air most of the time, except on the day of the hurricane, and how we passed along useful information. They did one hell of a job, if you ask me. Up yours, Tom, you piece of crap. I hope he dies a wicked death. I hope he gets run over by a Mack truck. I'd like to see his head put in the middle of the stretch at Calder and have the whole field run over his head in the middle of the feature race. Yeah.
Boy, you're angry at Tom.
I am. He pisses me off. He just and a couple of days ago he never writes anything local anyway, but when he does, it's just all generic crap. He writes a thing about, well, the Nielsen's for this market are going to be they're going to be postponed and whatever because there are no Nielsen ratings because nobody had TV. He didn't bother writing about the summer radio ratings because he can't be bothered with that stuff. And then I found out that Muff never sent him the information in the first place. So between the two of them,
he knew about the ratings, though.
Who did?
Tom.
But he didn't write about it.
I know.
Well, screw him.
You can't
next
lay that
time
off
you
on
see him
Duff.
at the press box, just take him over the edge of the press box and shove his ass off the edge.
No, they have windows.
That would be good. Huh?
They have windows at Calder.
Well, whatever. It's at Gulfstream.
I don't go to the Gulfstream.
Well, make a special trip. In fact, I'll tell you what, get your good buddy Raul Martinez. He'll shove him over the edge with one hand.
Yeah, well.
With his hands tied behind his back.
So what else is going on?
You won't believe this story. Saturday at Woodbine, on my birthday, no less.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you so much. It's not so happy. You know that when I get to be these numbers. But anyway, so I go early in the morning like I usually do on Saturday. And I'm losing, and finally I had $1,000 on the line. I'm not doing too bad. And then finally, after, about 5-6 hours, I had $3,000 on the line. I win $2,000. Not bad, right?
Very good.
So I cash out, and I go to the window to cash my points. You know, when you use the player card, you get points, and I accumulate them over a long period of time. So I had $350 coming on my points. And then she looks in the computer as she, scans my card, and she says, we have two gifts for you in here. We have your birthday gift. $25, and I thought, boy, that's pretty chintzy. Last year they gave me $100 on my birthday. And then she says, we have a holiday gift, $500.
Wow,
$500. And I mean,
what's the holiday?
In the scheme of things, with the amount that I plunged there, it's not a lot of money. But I thought, boy, they're sure feeling awfully generous. So I walked out of there about $3,000 to the good on my birthday. Wasn't that sweet?
What's the holiday?
For Christmas and New Year's, the holiday season. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe they're just feeling guilty.
Maybe it's a Canadian holiday.
No.
Simchas Torah this week?
Canadian thing, yeah. Simchas Torah was already a Jewish Canadian New Year. No, we had Thanksgiving in October here already.
Oh. Well, they gave you something to be thankful for.
Yeah, that was nice. That was actually pretty nice. I thought, that's a nice gesture on your part. That doesn't,
speaking of slots, I see where they're going to call a special session in the legislature.
Uh-huh.
And the governor says...
The governor says, we have to do our duty. Well, gee, you finally figured that out, huh?
Yeah, guess
6 months late?
Yeah. Where did that come from? I guess he sees all the criticism being leveled at him and the rest of his family, and he's decided that he's actually going to obey the law for a change.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a novelty?
Yeah.
Well, why should he be the only one in his family to do that? Just doesn't run in the family, that's for damn sure, between the wife and the son and the daughter.
I should say follow the Constitution.
And the brother with his SNL scandals, and, of course, the president with all the blood on his hands. Well, they sure liked him a lot in Latin America, I'll tell you that. If you think they like him a lot in the U.S.,
how about
they like him a lot less
Maradona, the soccer player, has a sign that calls him a war criminal.
Can I ask you a question about how, because I didn't watch that much of it, but how could the Dolphins have even been in that game yesterday? I mean,
the other side made mistakes. They were dominated the whole game. They showed up plenty, Neil. They had a 91-yard drive.
They're so superior. I mean, it's like a joke.
Yeah, they weren't close to that team. Atlanta should have won that game by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But they had a fumble on
Fortis's team. Tampa got pummeled yesterday. I can't believe that.
I believe it. But
when you have the NFL package and you're sitting in your living room with your clicker, and you're trying to find a good game to watch, and it's not easy anymore.
Oh, you should see next week's schedule's horrible.
Bad matchups. So many bad teams and bad games. Cleveland and Tennessee. Oh my God, just horrible.
There's not a good game on the schedule next week.
Wow. And then you're telling me that the Patriots have a chance to win tonight, is what you said.
I think they do. I think Brady has a chance to win every time he goes out there.
What was that?
I don't know.
What was that, Josh?
I don't know. What was what?
I didn't hear anything. You okay, Neil? You are a year older.
Yeah. I saw that movie Gaslight, okay, with Charles Boyer and Ingrid Bergman. I saw that one. Yeah, who the hell are you kidding?
But anyway, there is not one game next week that's worth that you would want to watch.
Well, it's pretty sad.
Although New England's coming to town.
Yeah, that'll be ugly.
I
usually don't make predictions on that. It won't be like last year when they let that game get away out of embarrassment factor. That was when they, just a brain fart by Brady. That was pathetic. And another thing that dawned on me this weekend, speaking of Brady Quinn, I just can't fathom. With how many NCAA Division I teams do you think there are? Do you have any idea?
130 or something like that.
Yeah. Now, how can it be that one team? I don't want to say that the Catholics have too much influence in America, but how can one team have its own network? They got Tom, what's his name, the guy that does the games? He's awfully boring. Tom Hammond with the white hair. Tom Hammond, and they got their own telecast. They got NBC as the Notre Dame network. Well, what kind of communist bunch of crap is that?
Had it for years.
I know that. What is that all about?
They sell it.
Screw Notre Dame.
As long as there's a Catholic chairman of a board someplace, they're going to be able to sell the hell out of those things.
Oh, by the way, speaking of chairman of the board, you see the FP&L chairman of the board. He had a nice big. He had a big home generator there for the hurricane. Louis Hay the Turd. He had his own generator. Isn't that great?
There's still a lot of people without power here. It's amazing.
176,400 families as of this morning, and they said they promised that by the end of the day tomorrow, 95% of the people would have it back on. Well, they better be working heavy duty today and tomorrow, I'll tell you that, if they're going to accomplish that. And all 700, that's bad. Really bad. George finally got his back on after being sick as hell for days.
I don't think I still know some people who don't have their power.
And this business about, oh, no, there's nothing wrong with their poles. The poles are fine. Yeah, right. We got some story on that. They had more split poles and rotting poles and things. They suck, FP&L. We hate you like poison and wish you all the executives of FP&L. We hope you're in the same car crash with Tom Jicha. How do you like that?
Well, you're tough on Tom.
No, I'm honest about Tom. It's business, it's not personal. It's starting to get to be both because it's pretty obvious now that all you got to do is criticize him, and right away he goes into a shell like a turtle. I don't like the fact that he doesn't write about anything local anymore now. Maybe that's what the paper wants him to do, write these puff pieces about every network show that's going to get canceled in 5 weeks anyway. But he doesn't write about the local TV and radio scene. Nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. A child could have written this article here about, the weathercasters and anchors and reporters did this, and thanks to the collaboration of TV and radio, it was possible at any hour to find out where food and ice were being dispensed and how long the wait would be. There was never any doubt schools would be closed, but official confirmation. Well, something, we were passing all that information along, you and I and the other people on this station, and IOD, I understand, weren't we?
Yes. For
a long time, and doing a hell of a damn good job, if you ask me. But Tom can't be bothered with that. It's only and again, that would be like dignifying radio. So I guess the only reason it's good that radio was on and people had transistor radios and radios in their cars is so that we could put the TV audio on.
Or those portable TVs so they could watch the game.
You can take that TV audio and stick it where the moon don't, where Mike Moonshine don't shine.
Or those portable TVs so they could watch the Canes game Saturday.
There you go. Well, that was some contest. Not.
I'm talking about Barry's column with the portable TVs.
Yeah. Barry, who finally admitted that we beat the crap out of the other place, but wouldn't put the numbers in there, would you, Barry? Would you, Barry, you little quisling, you little sellout?
He's a pimp.
I'll tell you how much it costs to get, how many cents to get Barry on your side.
About 30, man.
30 cents, that's all.
Oh, Barry, that's Struns.
That's Struns, yeah.
All right. You have a nice day.
You too. I got out of my sister. By the way, when you see Tom, give him a big kiss on the lips for me.
I'm going to shove him through the window at Calder.
Yeah, shove him right through the window in the press box.
Okay.
Sounds like a good idea.
All right.
Shove him through the Bob Savage Memorial window.
Ooh.
Can't believe Bob's no longer with us.
Yeah, like Bob. Good guy.
Yeah, he was very nice to me. I always say that. He was a good guy to me.
He was a good guy.
He was about 2 feet tall, but he was a good guy. And the funny part of it, did you ever meet his wife, his second wife?
Yep.
She was about like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, especially when she stood on the wad of money she had.
Oh, brother, she was loaded. Nice going, Bobby. Up there in horse racing heaven somewhere.
That's right.
Well, have a great day.
All right, I'll see you.
Hasta mañana.
And to you.
MONTAYSUCKS.
Oh!
I went to Dolphins training camp. I asked Nick Saban, who will it be? Will it be AJ? Will it be Sage? Here's what Nick said to me. Gus Farad.
Oh my God.
Our starting QB will be. I think we'll have victory with Farad.
No.
Just you wait and see.
No!
I saw an exhibition game. Watching him play was like a bad dream. I saw him fumble. He dropped the ball. It made me want to scream. Gus Farad ain't got
You fairy.
whatever it is you need. Your offense has gone to seed with Farad. He can't score TDs.
No.
Gus Farad. Mediocrity.
Absolutely.
If you play Farad, you will be sorry. Oh!
They're sorry, all right. They got their heads in their ass today. Well, it's one of those things. Just a ball game with all the other important things that people have to worry about, like getting their lives back together again. Who cares about some stupid-ass ball game, right?
What?
Evidently, a lot of people. Must be your chili is there from Howie's. Thanks to
Oh,
Howie's.
man.
George is back today, pigging out.
I need another bowl full. I thought you were going to order 2 bowls, Josh. I mean, 2 each.
You missed all that good pizza and spaghetti that Josh had on, what day was that, Thursday?
Thursday. I don't think I could have
Thursday was
taken
the big
cheese.
day that we made the peace offering to Mo, and Mo said no.
No?
No, thank you. No, thank you.
You wouldn't take a piece?
He didn't take a piece. He said, doy, and go away. Now, he was, I guess he was civil about it. There was no big Simmons went on. If the Beast would have taken him in there, which was my first suggestion, that would have been a bad idea. He was right about that. That would not have been a cool move to send the Beast in there with a pizza peace offering. Not good. Anyway, thanks to Howie's and thanks to our good buddy, what's his name over there at... Brad at Tony's.
Mm-hmm.
Got a brain fart because I'm so pissed off at Tom Jicha. I'm so tired of you, Tom. I'm so tired of the fact that they give you a column every day or whatever the hell you show up to do it. You know, and he's talking about he's in the dark, like a lot of other people were in there. You're in the dark, all right, sweetheart, with your transistor sister. You know, we could have just, probably that's what we should have done. We should have just said, oh, well, guess what? Let's just open up the pot. We can never give all the information out, especially with Neil out of touch with what's going on here local, like Tom always says. And let's just open the pot and put the TV experts on there.
Right. I mean, how could we compete with that great information anyway?
Yeah, so we can hear them patting each other on the back and talking about congratulating each other for the great job they're doing, and we're doing better than anybody else, and this is an exclusive, and whatever. You know,
you're stuck in bed, stuck watching it because you got no cable, and that's all you see, channel after channel. We're so great. We were here. We were the first. We were, and that's it, hour after hour of that.
Right.
Crap.
Screw all of them. Okay, that's my, and he does point out, and rightfully so, that who the hell wants to see these idiots standing out there nearly getting blown away and killed in the middle of some storm, to show us, hey, look how tough we are, how brave we are. No, I think the word you're looking for is stupid. That's how stupid you are. Okay. If you just stood inside the window and we could see behind you the wind blowing and all the trees falling down, we'd get the message without you standing out there making a jackass out of yourself. Except, of course, for Rob Marciano when the wind blows his shirt open and his pants half off. But other than that. Oh, speaking of getting blown to bits, we got another dead soldier. A Marine was killed in an insurgent ambush Sunday when his patrol raided a house in Husayba, Iraq, near the Syrian border. 2,046 dead American troops so far. But who's counting, right? Obviously, we thought when it got to 2,000, there were a couple of protests, and they had a big protest in L.A. that got no coverage, even in the L.A. Times, and they had to shut some of the streets in the city down, and no coverage. Nobody cares about that. But we do see that the president is laying a wreath at the American cemetery in Panama.
Terry, they contributed.
Look at that. Very important, and of course, he's getting welcomed very enthusiastically all over Latin America, where they just love him like crazy.
Yeah,
like
so those parties they were throwing in his honor.
Oh, yeah. that must have been what that was, a festival.
Yeah.
In Brazil. They have all those big festivals.
Parade, right.
That must be what that was.
Carnival, yeah.
They hate them like poison. And they made it very clear, by the way, they don't hate the American people. It's kind of like what I hear in Canada all the time. It's not the American people we hate, it's your government. It's Bush, Bush, Bush. 10:13 at 560 WQAM. Happy Monday, November 7th. My birthday went by. Could like nice story from Woodbine. That was a nice episode. No problem, no stress. How do you like that? I want to thank Eric, by the way, for the nice birthday gift on Friday, that bandwidth invoice. That was nice. Nice touch, Eric.
Did he put it in a card?
And by the way, the check's already in the mail. Yeah, he's with a card. The check is in the mail, you fat slob.
Know that the Lord even loves Neil Rogers.
In that power company,
You put the futility in utility. Florida paradise in life. There isn't a hurricane that blows as much as you. When a storm threatens, we can count on you to turn our power off long before it gets here, leaving the rest of us to marvel at the blue glow of exploding transformers, providing us a historical perspective of 1957 technology. And in the moist heat of tropical darkness, the weakening batteries in our radios broadcast your latest press release for South Florida that says your trucks and crews are ready to roll from the Alabama state border. And the question in everyone's mind is, huh? So as we search for the appropriate answer to how many FPL emergency crews does it take to change a light bulb, Florida Paradise in Light, this bird's for you.
in that power company,
But George, I'm sure, wants to thank all his close personal friends at Florida Plunder and Loot for getting him back on so fast. Yesterday at 5 o'clock.
5:30.
5:30. 5:30,
man.
Right.
Oh.
You guys at FP&L, we're talking about the management types, not those poor guys that stuff around out there outside. We're talking about the people who make the decisions and who lie a lot. You suck.
It with the mansion and the upright generator, you know, that FPL installed for him.
I'll get to that, but I got a very important story here. This may be the only thing we need to just read this over and over again today. Tampa. Oh, don't tell me that the Bucks got pounded yesterday, Josh.
Okay. I think the bigger story is the two cheerleaders of Carolina.
That's the story I got right here.
Well, go for it.
Speaking of pounding.
2 Carolina Panther cheerleaders spent the night in jail after a rough night in Channelside. The Panthers were in town to play the Bucks yesterday afternoon, and the Bucks just crushed the Bucks. The Bucks rhymes with sucks. Witnesses say Angela Keithley and Renee Thomas were engaged in some type of sexual activity.
Oh, my God.
Inside a bathroom stall at Banana Joe's around 2:20 Sunday morning. Another woman waiting to use the bathroom got into an argument with the pair. She was getting really tired of waiting out there. She was like dancing from one toe to the other toe. Police say Thomas punched the woman in the face. When Thomas was arrested, she gave police the name of another Panthers cheerleader. Did you see the pictures of these two?
No.
Now, the blonde
I
is...
did. I did.
The blonde is so-so, but the brunette, man, she's got a face that even her mother could hate. I have never seen such an ugly bitch. That's a cheerleader for Carolina?
Well, you throw a little makeup on her, you know, she's got the body.
Throw a bag on her head, she still looks bad.
No, wait a minute, son. I don't know my team's that. North or South Carolina?
South.
Oh, see, no, all right. That makes sense.
North. Where the hell do they play Carolina?
I actually don't know. I'll look.
Raleigh? No, it's definitely North.
Oh, okay.
I think. Thomas could face additional charges for lying to police once they confirm her identity. Keithley was charged with disorderly conduct, obstructing or opposing an officer, while Thomas was charged with 1 count of battery. The 2 women were taken to Hillsborough County Jail, where they both bonded out yesterday morning. How do you like this? Carolina. Nothing could be finer than to punch out a Carolina cheerleader, especially if they look like that one. Oh, God. She is so ugly. You have no idea. Now, let me read that one sentence again. It says... The 2 were engaged in some type of sexual activity inside a bathroom stall, and it didn't say if there was anybody else in there with them, okay? So that doesn't leave too much possibility, right?
Right.
Well, what is that all about? Gay cheerleaders? Oh, Jesus, we got a movie about gay cowboys. Now we got gay cheerleaders in Tampa, no less. What will it be next?
That sounds like...
What?
That could be its own channel, the gay cheerleader channel.
Yeah.
I wouldn't need any other.
Debbie Does Sally?
Please.
Brian in Pompano Beach says, what about the Challenger explosion for today's poll he's talking about? That's a good one, the Challenger explosion. The thing I remember most about the Challenger explosion, I do remember when I was there. I'll get to today's poll eventually, but over and over, about 45 million times we've seen the picture of naturally, because the networks have it, so they have to keep showing it. And they show the mother, you know, they had him like in the bleachers, the crowd there at Cape Kennedy. Or was it Cape Canaveral then? Well, whatever the hell it is. And the mother's like shielding her eyes, looking up into the bright sun, and like, something's not right. Like, is that the way it's supposed to be? You know, like she's got that look on her face, like I don't think this is all so good.
Much smoke.
Yeah, too much smoke and mirrors and not enough whatever. Very bad. That was the one, like Reagan said. Oh, that was the one with the school teacher, huh? He forgot his name, but then again he kept forgetting his own name too. That's the one with the school teacher, right? The one that they had to rush up there to make sure that they had the successful completion of the tour for his inauguration speech. Didn't work out too good. 1,566 votes on the poll over the weekend. We apologize for the fact we had no new stories on it this weekend, but Saturday afternoon I realized that I'll take the full blame. It should have been me getting a hold of Eric and saying, oh, Josh doesn't have any internets, okay? And so I should have told Eric, and then Eric could have. And you know what? I thought, screw it. We'll take the weekend off. Screw everybody. And then we did.
Well, you'll be happy to know that I'm back, so.
All right.
You are brutal, man. You're just brutal. You're unbelievable. Josh is back. He's got the internet. All right. Let's hear it. I just didn't care anymore. You know, I just gave up. I thought this is an omen. It means the weekend. It's my birthday anyway. Let's just take the weekend off. Everybody else took a lot of time off. Look at George, for Christ's sakes. He took off Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, for crying out loud.
Well, Thursday and Friday anyway.
Was it only Thursday and Friday?
Yeah.
Seemed like forever.
Yeah, it did.
Especially when Miguel was in there arguing about loofahs and body wash.
Which, by the way,
yes,
he came in this morning and told me that he used his wife's pink one. Oh, just happened to be in there.
His wife's pink one?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about the loofah?
He said he could, he felt like he was rubbing the masculinity off of him.
It does
well, that shouldn't have taken very long. In his case, see what I mean? This is a Cuban thing, man. It's a Cuban thing.
I found
Cubans. It was Cubans.
A jagged piece of debris from the hurricane wreckage, and I soaped that up and I used that. It's very manly.
Yeah.
I think it's a rock. It's a piece of cinder block. I'm not sure what it is.
It's a piece of pumice. It's it's like washing with lava soap.
It's very jagged. It's got three
like using lava soap
points on it.
He felt like he was washing the masculinity off of himself. Who are you kidding, man? Miguel.
You fairy.
Oh God. I'm not going to waste any more of the audience's valuable time trying to sell you on it. If you want to use it, fine. If not, be my guest. All I'm telling you is you're wasting about 90% of the body wash. You're just pishing it down the drain. In addition to which, like I told you on Friday, your hand is smooth. You're never going to really accomplish anything. It's like you're smearing it all over yourself, but you're not really accomplishing anything. You're not scraping away those. The only thing he's washing off is the dead scales on his skin all over his body. But don't confuse him with the facts, okay? Militant spick.
By the way.
Yes.
Charlotte.
This is where they play the Carolina Panthers?
That's what John said.
Well, that makes sense because that's like the biggest city there. That's why I don't understand this thing with like the Carolina Hurricanes, which got a hell of a team, by the way. They got a great team, and that kid Eric Stahl, I don't want to talk hockey, and they play in Raleigh. First they started in Greensboro, which was a joke, and now they play in Raleigh, and they still, as good as they are, they still don't draw flies. The NHL wants to start getting smart. Just eliminate 10 teams right now, and I'll tell you which ones. Florida Panthers, of course, no question about it, and the Carolina Hurricanes, and Atlanta Trashers, and Anaheim Not-So-Mighty Ducks. At any rate, don't talk that crap. What's the best product you discovered in the past couple of years, we asked on Friday. 1,566 votes. Online banking came from nowhere and passed everybody, 349. The Internet's 347. Which it's amazing to me that there are that many people out there who are that slow that only the last couple of years they caught on to the Internet. But then we got the humper. You know what I'm saying? It's never too late for him. TiVo 213. Body wash, which seemed to be having an early lead, just kind of sagged later on. They didn't want to wash the masculinity off their bodies. 149. Is that what he really said?
Yes, I'm not messing around. He was in here this morning saying that.
He felt like he was washing the masculinity. Well, first of all, nobody told him to use a pink one, even though mine happens to be pink, and that's because it was the only one that
He says his wife's is pink, and it just happened to be there, so he picked it up.
Yeah.
Tried it.
And?
I just told you what he said.
And that was the only reaction he had.
That's what he had.
He was washing the masculinity off himself. What a pansy, man. You're such a pansy, Miguel. Pansy! God, I feel so much more macho now compared to him. What is this thing? What it means to
somebody
be
brought
power?
up the Keys has a different power company, and this is all about it, which is
Keys
very
Energy
interesting.
Services, a public. Okay, I'll get to that. Just relax. Somebody faxed it on that, wanted the confirmation on Friday, and we never heard any more about it. Anyway, let's see. The body wash 149, DVD porn 145, portable generators 91, iPod 60. Toyota Prius Hybrid 60, Haagen-Dazs Banana Nut Ice Cream 40. Don't start. I'm telling you. I'm begging you. Don't start.
Do it.
Chainsaw 36, Neutrogena 34. God, is that great stuff, man?
Oh yeah.
The Flavor Wave oven only 17. That's just tragic. 17. I use it every...
It's a kitchen appliance, and we have all these guys in the audience.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Xbox Live 15 and PSP 10, which I don't even know what it is. What's PSP?
PlayStation Portable.
Oh, well, that's way out of my line. 10. All you overgrown children out there. Right?
Right, well,
that's the way it is. We got a lot of overgrown children out there, and some of them just better than playing with guns. Yeah. 1027. By the way, if you see any of the executives from Florida Plunder and Loot, keep in mind that October 1st law. I'm not suggesting you do anything you understand, but just keep in mind. American Residential Lending wants to make your life a lot easier. With over 22 years' experience, ARL offers custom loan programs that fit your situation. Whether it's the wife nagging you to remodel the kitchen, or you're just looking to put a pool in the backyard, or maybe you want to wipe out mountains and mountains of credit card debt, American Residential Lending can help you get it done. Call Nelson Yakora at American Residential Lending. They've got more than 2 decades' experience in the mortgage business and access to more than 100 wholesale lenders. ARL can cut your current mortgage payment up to $500 a month, handle your refinancing to generate some quick cash for you, or even do a home equity loan. And they do it with personalized service and a program that is made specifically for you. Plus, when you close a loan with these folks, they give you a free 7-day Caribbean cruise to help you celebrate. How can you beat that? So call American Residential Lending today. It's toll-free call 1-866-MOVE-ARL. That's 1-866-668-3275. When you call, be sure and tell them that old Neil told you to call. 1-866-668-3275.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Are strange, they're never happy, never get laid and stay home all alone.
Tonight on Celebrity Poker, Ted Levine.
It puts the chips in the pot.
Al Franken. Al Pacino.
You fairy.
Jack Klugman. And Camilla Parker Bowles.
All right, mates, let's play poker.
What are you betting, Alan?
$6,000.
I call you Alan, because I am Al Franken.
I don't care who you are, you fairy.
Now, how much?
$6,000.
That's an awful lot of money.
What are you going to do about it, you fairy?
What do you got, Jack?
You just cost me $6,000 and one Cadillac. What are you going to do about it?
All the suspense and excitement you can expect from low-budget, dumbed-down television. Like this viewer here.
That was funny. Oh, God, I want to die.
Become fleshy jello in a chair with Celebrity Poker on ESPU.
10:32 at 560 WQM. We got the Mo Meister, Mo Howard David. We got looks like a pristine schedule today. Mo from 2 to 4, Jim Mandich, Mad Dog at 4 to 7. Curtis Stevenson 7 to 10. Thank God. Ed Kaplan 10 to 2. No games, no Panthers, no nothing. Panthers, by the way, got a new deal. They lose every day. Seems to be the new format. They lose every day. Panthers and the Rangers at the Macarena on Wednesday. That game is on. We never did through all of these days and all this stuff that went on. This is what really is frustrating to me. And, of course, we aren't important TV people like the people at 4, 6, 7, and 10, Tom.
That's right.
So that's probably why we didn't get the information.
So you just need to come to terms with that. I think that's what's upsetting.
That's right. I mean, who the hell are we? But information about places like the Macarena, we heard that it got some damage, but that was it. We didn't really get any details. I've been begging to find out where the damage was at Pompano Park, whether it was the tote board, the track, the grandstand, something, and we can't get no information.
I drive by it because I live right there, and it looked like they were open.
It looked like what was open?
Pompano Park.
What time was this? What day are you talking about?
This was, I want to say Saturday. Saturday, like at about noonish.
Well, they might have been open for simulcasting because if the tote didn't get damaged, that's what it would be nice to find out. But, of course, Troy Stratford doesn't want to go the extra 5 inches to find out for me. Our sales department, man, take them into engineering, put the two of them together, put them in a pot, and then cook them like chili without the beans. Or throw in some kidney beans because I get pains in the kidneys just from thinking about it. I just can't get no information because that would require a little bit too much effort. They make one call, they don't get a response, then that's the end of that. And then it's back to, like, grab ass in the tea room, like those cheerleaders in Tampa. So what kind of sexual activity do you think they were involved in there?
Yeah. I've only spent hours speculating.
Yeah. Believe if you saw that one, the brunette, you would not want to spend seconds speculating. You'd be puking your guts out.
Well, she could be on the
Oh, please, gag me with a spoon. She makes me look like Brad Pitt. That's how she's grotesque. A schnoz from hell. And she's a cheerleader? Well, I guess in North Carolina they probably haven't got all that much to choose from. Evidently, nothing could be finer than being a cheerleader in Carolina, having gay sex in a tea room at the Banana Bar in Tampa. Now, the story didn't say if there was anybody else in there, see, because I'm assuming that...
No, it was with each other.
So, well, what is that?
Gay.
Here's the FPL numbers as of 6 o'clock this morning. Are they doing a hell of a job,
No.
or what?
No.
No. You know, it's interesting to me. The people that got their power back real quick, those are the ones who are saying, oh, I think they did pretty good. Yeah, right, of course you do, because you got yours back like the day after the hurricane, you idiot.
Or like their president, who's got the really fancy generator.
I'll get to him after I cover that time. But I got a lot of stuff today. Well, first let me do the poll, our poll today. Which of these things stands out most in your memory? Where were you when... And here are the choices. Well, in fact, I'll read the result. How do you like that? That's even better. Where were you when the 9/11 attack took place? 178. I was sitting right there in George's seat right now.
Yep.
I was sitting right in that chair. It was my second day back after vacation, and I sat in that chair, and all of a sudden somebody comes in, and the World Trade, their plane ran away, and we turned on the TV. And, of course, Geldy's on the air with the worst team. And we continued for one solid hour. That has got to be the most embarrassing hour in the history of broadcasting in the U.S., or maybe in the world. And when later questioned about how come they didn't just put on the TV or how come we didn't do some change in programming and go to network coverage, that's the time to put the TV on, for crying out loud, little Tommy. That's the time. And Geldy says, well, what can we say about it? Huh? We got to talk sports. What can we say about it? What a quisling, man. What a little twerp. But he's doing a fine job on those Panther broadcasts. 409 votes. Which of these things stands out most in your memory? Where were you when the 9/11 attack took place? 180. When you first got laid? 116. When JFK was shot? 77. That was my vote. I was at work at Midtown Records in Rochester, New York, in my daytime job. I was working nights in Batavia, WBTA, and daytimes in Midtown Records. 2 jobs. How do you like that? Boy, was I an entrepreneur or what? And I left work early, and I drove to work early to see what I could do, and not much. Hurricane Andrew struck Florida 25. I remember that. We were at WIOLD, who also, by the way, I'm sure did a fine job of giving very important information out during the last couple of weeks since the hurricane. But don't confuse Tommy with that. No way. When the Challenger exploded, 5. When Bill Clinton was impeached, 4. When Bobby Kennedy was shot, 2. With those 75 bullets that are still stuck in the pantry wall. Ronald Reagan was shot and Martin Luther King was shot. Both got the big... Oh, what is that all about, huh? Were they small potatoes? Well, Reagan recovered, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. And we got to wait for the dark folks for Martin Luther King, now that we had all this hysteria about Rosa Parks, which I'm not minimizing Rosa Parks. In fact, did you hear what the hell day was it? The Momeister just went off on Rosa Parks, and I bet you most black people don't even know who the hell she is, and blah, 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 you know.
Huh?
And then, yeah, most young blacks don't know who that is, he said. He's just so out of touch, you know. He's still bent out of shape about that pizza he stole.
I heard a rumor that there's some audio that I haven't heard yet.
Well, you're not going to hear it on this show. We're not going to play that again.
Oh,
you listen to it.
Man.
Listen to it in your spare time. No chance.
Polka bits.
I'm telling you, between you and your cohort in there, the biggest... And I'm not even going to say it on the air. There's some other agents provocateurs, too. Keep provoking. Every time we try to make a nice little peace offering there on Thursday.
Uh-huh.
It was not accepted. No, thank you. But nevertheless... You know, everybody needs to get along, but it just never ends because you people keep stirring this pot, stirring the pot. George keeps smoking it. They keep stirring it, picking out the seeds and the weeds from the Greg Reeds. Here's the 6 a.m. numbers. It's not a pretty picture, I'll tell you that. I mean, it's better than it was. 176,400 people, our families, are still out, households without power in Florida, and all of them, let me say it again, all of them are in Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach County in that order. A mere 7,600 in Palm Beach. They sure did a hell of a lot better job in Palm Beach, I'll tell you. That's probably because of all the people on Palm Beach there with the money, you know. Probably made them an offer they couldn't refuse. 62,100 out in Dade County, which isn't too bad. But 106,700 still not restored in Broward. What the hell's that all about? Why does Broward keep taking a shot in the old... Huh? Tell me.
Wish I could.
That is just pathetic. 106,700. And these are the people that promised that 95% would be restored by the end of the day tomorrow, by November 8th. So we'll see, okay? In fact, I'm thinking that if they don't get everybody restored by the end of the business day, by 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, FP&L should give everybody free power the rest of the year, for all next year, for 2006. Isn't that a good idea?
Excellent.
Now, where's that thing you just sent me about Keys? The Keys. Keys Energy Services is a public power utility owned and operated by the citizens of Key West. Well, good for them. I knew they had something besides a bunch of drag queens down there. Oh, now, whatever happened with Fantasy Fest? Keys Energy Services provides an essential service at reasonable rates designed to meet the special needs of our community. Public power systems like Keys Energy Service are non-profit. It says their only mission is to provide you with reliable electric service at reasonable rates. What a concept. There are no dividends to pay to out-of-state stockholders. What an even wilder concept. All the benefits of our locally controlled electric utility remain here in the community. A utility board elected by the people of Key West decides how to operate Key's energy services. Local control gives everyone a say in how our utility can best meet our community needs. Community ownership of electric service guarantees local people working together to meet local needs such as energy conservation, environmental concerns, economic development, other services of local government. How do you like that?
By the way, something.
Yes?
The house in North Carolina is serviced by a very similar kind of an outfit, Blue Ridge Electric Membership Corporation, a customer-owned outfit kind of a thing. And it's great, and the rates are low. And
their only problem is they got real ugly cheerleaders.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Where's the love? I don't get no promotion.
That's when you go doy. You gotta try back and I can use the lotion.
That's when I doy. Sport hoes don't got no sense and you find.
When you go doy. That's what your body has a cancerous tumor.
So here's an informative fact that says, type in chainsaw.com, click on Cheryl Swoops comes out. Oh, yeah, what a shock, a WNBA dyke. Isn't that shocking?
I'm shocked.
And you're diverted to the lesbian site, AfterEllen.com. And I'm going to tell you, Ellen gives me spilkies, man. If I never saw that dyke again, it would be much too soon. Is she funny?
No.
Can she sing?
No.
Can she dance?
No.
Is she talented?
No.
But nevertheless, she's a dyke.
Yeah, but she looks like a man.
Yeah, that's true. Kind of like that Pentagon correspondent, Barbara Starr on CNN. I'm telling you, if that isn't a guy, my name is Ishkabibble, okay?
A.B.
It says, you go to AfterEllen.com. Now you can view the lesbian contestants for America's Next Top Model. Oh, well, it says, exclamation point, a public service offering to your lesbian listeners. How do you like that? In the wake of those two Carolina Panther cheerleaders who were doing a little hanky-panky there in the tea room at the Banana Joe's in Tampa on Saturday night. Shame on them. What kind of crap is that?
Yay.
After conducting water quality tests in the wake of Hurricane Wilma, the Broward County Health Department has reopened all beaches except for one in Pompano Beach. Did we get any? See, when you tell me that you drove by Pompano Park, so I'm assuming that the lights were all on, right?
Well, I mean, it was during the day. It's not that. It's just like the gates were open, and I'm pretty sure it looked like people were going in there.
Well, in other words, there were cars there and there were people going in? See, that would make me feel really, you know what? I'm here to do a service, and if people want to let me know, fine. I don't do psychic readings on the show. I can't give you although probably I would do better. The beach at Northeast 16th Street in Pompano Beach, just south of the Hillsborough Inlet, will remain closed until further notice, according to the Health Department. Okay, the beach at Northeast 16th Street in Pompano Beach. And what a shame, because you guys were going to go there right after the show today, too.
Yeah, damn it.
Damn it. Okay, here's that Tom Jicha column. Excuse me for rambling on, but I got a lot of crap I want to get off my chest before I get back to FP&L. Although this does tie in. Post-Wilma news coverage turns TV into a radio star, says little Tommy Jicha. Hey, Tom, don't you think it's about time you go on with Mr. Ego again and rip me an ass and talk a lot of crap on a station that's got no audience? That sounds like a good idea. Or maybe you can go find Sandy Payton somewhere. She's probably Sandy Payton Manning. Oh, so anyway, Payton Manning, and what's the guy's name that Renee Zellweger dumped?
Oh, Kenny Chesney. Chestnut.
That's the rumor, is that flying around all over. Oh, and Tab Hunter finally, after all these years, wrote a book and said, guess what, I was gay. Yeah. After vehemently denying it when the stories first came out about him and Anthony Perkins. He said, what, are you some kind of a psycho? And at any rate, so now the tabloids finally outed him here some time back, so we decided he might as well exploit it and write a book like everybody else. He wrote a book. Guess what? I was... You fairy. Yeah. That's something? Of course, you don't even know who Tab Hunter was.
I do. He was that guy.
Yeah.
He was in that
Another
movie.
pretty face. He sure could sing, couldn't he? No. In fact, Sonny James should have had him killed. Sonny James had a big hit, Young Love, on Capitol Records. Young Love. Remember that record? Well, you've heard it.
Yes.
Josh hasn't heard it, but you've heard it. Well, anyway, Tab Hunter covered it on Dot Records with a blanket, and also had a big hit. And he couldn't sing a lick. He sang kind of like David Soul, only worse. Remember David Soul?
Yeah.
That record he put out? What the hell was the name of that song? It's probably in the Time Life collection.
Don't give up on us.
Don't get rough on me, baby. Something like that. Don't get rough on my baby. Maybe. So David Soul, man, there's another guy. He could sure sing. Oh, no. Now, you got to be kidding me. Where the hell did that come from?
I pulled it out of my ass, of course.
You must have.
Where do you keep your copy?
Yeah. Oh. Good job.
I gave up on it.
Tom Jicha writes, dining by candlelight is vastly overrated. There ought to be consensus on that by now. Watching television on the radio is no bargain either, although it was a lifeline for the past couple of weeks. See, seriously, this bothers me a lot. I don't need anybody to kiss my ass, but once in a while, it would be nice for not just me, but for those of us who worked our ass off. I got the internets here, I got the cable going, I volunteered even to work on the day of the hurricane on Monday. It would be nice to get a little bit of a pat on the back and credit for doing a hell of a job. You suck, Tom. You're an idiot. It was a lifeline for the last couple of weeks. Well, I got news for you. There were a lot of people last couple of weeks who were actually listening to the radio, to radio stations that weren't just silent opening up a pot and putting on TV audio, okay, which is the lazy way out. Now, I realize some stations had no choice because technically they couldn't get on the air, they couldn't, whatever the deal was, right?
Right.
We'll give them a little bit of slack, not too much. Although if we could do it, sure as hell just about anybody could, if we can get on the air. Not across the street, though. Tom writes, there's a certain poetic justice in the fact that while local TV news was doing some of its finest work, almost no one was able to see it, except George. He had his rabbit ears. The medium that unfailingly opts for sizzle over substance had to resort to the basics of reporting instead of relying on alluring visuals. In so doing, broadcasters shone, and the medium fulfilled its public service mandate in a way it rarely does during less stressful times. There ought to be a lesson there, but it'll go unlearned. Weathercasters, anchors, and reporters worked exhausting shifts for days on end, but in essence they were radio stars. Without radio partners to deliver their work, the TV people would have been shouting into the wind, farting into a windstorm, is I think what you mean, Tom. Speaking of which, did anybody miss the customary battalion of reporters standing on windy beaches telling us this was no place to be during a hurricane? The correspondents were there. The blackout spared most of us the reckless spectacle. It'll take a needless death and subsequent budget-choking lawsuit for this irresponsible exercise to be abandoned. Thanks to the collaboration of TV and radio, it was possible at any hour to find out where food and ice are being dispensed and, alas, how long the wait would be. There was never any doubt schools would be closed, but official confirmation as well as the duration of the unscheduled recess was essential information. So were depressing updates on how long we'd be sitting in the dark listening to a battery-powered radio if you could hear it over the din of the neighbors' generators. If a political leader or storm recovery expert was holding a press conference, there were few moments when somebody wasn't. TV on radio was there. Reporters could have been more aggressive in not accepting at face value every self-serving word, but there will be plenty of time for investigative reporting and blame placing in the coming weeks, writes little Tommy. The post-Wilma reporting was so praiseworthy it was enough to make you forget about the usual pre-hurricane overkill. Wilma crashed over us 2 Mondays ago. The chicken little hysteria started when? The previous Tuesday? Labor Day? Brian Norcross is great when a storm strikes. In the run-up, he comes off as an alarmist attention seeker. He isn't the only one, but it seems as if his bosses are too intimidated by his reputation to tell him enough is enough. And it seems that Tommy doesn't want to write anybody else's name in this story other than little Brian Norcross. It was maddening to have programs interrupted or preempted entirely for hurricane preparedness tips almost a week before there'd be any jeopardy. In the wake of this record summer of storms, this was like telling the Pope how to prepare for Mass. Given the expanded newscast throughout the day, a brief top-of-the-hour advisory or bottom-of-the-screen crawl would have sufficed in prime time until the storm was within 24 hours of landfall. There was tacit acknowledgement of this when big-ticket attractions such as Desperate Housewives and the World Series went on as scheduled, even as the first winds of Wilma were being felt. There has been no reported loss of life because viewers opted for entertainment over more of the sky is falling warnings they've been subjected to for a week. You see, I happen to disagree with that because this is the one case where they should have been told, and we were telling them, prepare. This is the one you ought to be prepared for. Didn't we tell them that?
Yeah.
Go out and get your plywood and your visqueen and your lumber and your water and your crap and your batteries and get with it. Nevertheless, says Tommy, if there is another hurricane warning next week, the TV stations will do it all again. Stephen Colbert will put his finger on the syndrome on opening night of his new Comedy Central program. Playing a phone news anchor, he intoned, if you're not scared, we're not doing our job. Local news in South Florida never falls down on this job, says Tommy. Why is it only local news? Isn't that the job of the mass media, too? Like on CNN, we have another terrorist alert.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And look at that. Deadly tornadoes with Mrs. Limbaugh in there right now.
Incredible.
Deadly tornadoes in Indiana.
Vanderburgh County.
I told you don't get to Indiana, didn't I?
Right.
Although I hear that Ardeen Taylor says Indiana wants you.
That's what he said. We still don't have cable here, so I'll just take your word for it.
We still have no cable there. Well, don't say anything about that.
I won't.
Although Josh came perilously close on Friday to committing. As a matter of fact, we came perilously close to a lot of problems on Friday between Josh and Miguel. Pop, 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 that whole deal. Yeah. Oh, you should have heard it. I'm sitting in here, I'm going crazy because I hear them and they're on the air and I can't make out what they're saying. Thank the Lord. Thank goodness for that. But they're in, the one thing about Miguel, because it's the same thing that's another reason I'm glad I'm not doing any more shows down there. Because I'm sitting in my studio there, and during the show, forget about during the break, during the show, Miguel comes in and plants himself down, and he and George are having an animated argument about them, probably in Espanol. And I'm sitting there watching this, realizing that nobody's paying any attention to what I'm saying, or the fact that I'm even still breathing, that I could probably croak and flop right over in the chair, and they wouldn't even notice it for like 20 minutes, because like that. What? So anyway, this is all going in the air, and of course, finally, Muff, I guess, came running in there and said, "Hey, you jackasses, you fools, you clowns, you fail." Yeah, talk about the pot calling the kettle pink. And then finally they shut the... And in the meantime, I'm yelling on the intercom, and then I find out that nobody can hear the damn intercom. Years, forget about Wilma, years we've been screaming about the ineptitude of the technical crap in that studio. This studio I got right here, I'll guarantee, I'll bet you dimes to donuts, I'll bet you Matty Bell and Fat Boy's life on it. This studio puts that studio, it's a shame. It's a shame. And you want to know why? Because only I use this studio. No other creeps come in here and start potchking with stuff.
The only thing I could say is we have a nicer chair here.
No, I got the same chair.
Oh, okay.
That I put together myself.
Ooh.
How do you like that? Old queen like me putting the... And in fact, I think it's maybe time for a new one. Maybe I better call up Office Depot and give me a nice new chair. At my expense, of course.
Depot?
Anyway, we got a story here that I'll get to. Customers say FPL failed to act on utility pole complaints. See, when the commission came out with a story about how your poles were like crap. Oh, well, no, that isn't true, and it's a bunch of lies, and, well, you lie. You're liars at Florida Plunder and Louie, okay? You're a bunch of liars. We hate you like poison. You lie like crazy, and we've got all kinds of evidence right here from loads of people telling us about poles that were rotten to the core. That should be their motto, We're Florida Plunder and Louie, we're rotten to the core. Don't you like that? It's got kind of a nice ring to it. We're rotten to the core. And you still don't have cable there in the studio.
No.
Well, I'll bet you that Muff is on it right now.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is the brain. Any questions?
Kenny and Renee, 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 Kenny and Renee. I remember when I heard the news, felt like I was loaded up on booze. When the movie stars said happily, I will marry country singer Kenny Chesney. Didn't know each other for too long. She drinks wine and he owns a farm. Renee had the cowboy at hello, but now it's time for him to pack his saddle and go. So it's over, there's no more love and no more hot passion anymore. Poor Renee got her heart broken like when she played Bridget Jones. 127 days of marriage, now it's done. I guess that Wigger didn't think that watching tractor pulls was fun. Now, Kenny and Renee go their separate ways. Nothing left to say. He'll take his Texan hat. She will get the cat and her yoga mat. He loved to watch NASCAR. She loved to go far. Their marriage was bizarre. You fairy.
11:02 at 560 WQAM. Uh-oh. Along those lines, I'm sure you saw this over the weekend. Big news now. In a new interview, Shar Jackson says she and Kevin Federline were still together when he and Britney Spears began dating last year. He is so grotesque, it just makes me wonder.
And he smells bad, according to sources.
But other than that...
He's great.
And he's dumber than a box of rocks. But other than that...
Yeah, he's a catch.
Jackson, then pregnant with her second child with Federline, says the truth came out only... Pregnant with her second child?
Yeah.
Says the truth came out... What a classy bunch, Well, they're from down there, From the Okefenokee. Says the truth came out only after he flew abroad for a commercial which became a months-long trip with Spears. Federline and Spears were wed last year. The son was born in September. How do you call yourself a human being knowing that you put somebody else through that pain, Jackson asks of Spears in the December issue of Sister to Sister magazine. Sister to Sister. Maybe that's what they were doing, little Sister to Sister in the tea room there at Banana Joe's in Tampa over the weekend, them grotesque cheerleaders.
What kind of magazine is that?
That's a vicious cycle right there, man. We got to break that, she says. That's what Shar says. Jackson, 29, and Federline have a 3-year-old daughter, Corey, and a son, Caleb, born July 2004. Jackson, who co-starred in the TV series Moesha, has 2 older children from a previous relationship. She and Federline are still really good friends, Jackson says, but she doesn't want child support. Hell no, she says. I'm a very, very independent woman. Okay, if I wanted child support, that's an easy procedure. Instead, all I want from Kevin is his time with his children. That's it, bottom line. Jackson's working on an album, her first. A track from Federline's debut recently appeared on the Internet, and you would puke from it. Can he sing?
No.
Can he act?
No.
Can he dance?
No.
We know one thing he can do.
I missed that.
Yeah. There's one thing he can do. Obviously, very effectively, too.
He's got an album. He's
He's a great impregnator, man.
Singer.
Customers say FPL failed to act on utility pole complaints. Here's some of the evidence, okay, right here. Right in my fat little pudgy hands, Tom Jicha, you know something? Seriously. I really mean this. This marketplace is so pathetic, it doesn't make any difference because it's all about personalities. If you rub somebody the wrong way, if you had a 90 share, they wouldn't put it in the paper. It's just the way it is. So it's just like what it was with the Herald, and it's the same with Tom Jicha. With or without your help or without any kind of publicity, we'll still succeed very well, thank you, and we're still kicking ass. Without any assistance from you, okay? And he doesn't mention anything else about anybody except Brian Norcross, and if there's anybody in there who doesn't need any publicity, it's little Brian Norcross. How about talking about the people that work their ass off at all of these stations to keep the things on the air so that we could pass along the information, whether it was from the TV station or our own people or off the Internet or off CNN, the Certainly Not News, wherever the hell we were getting it from? Just another bunch of words on a page. They could take a 5-year-old child and pay the kid a lot less, I'm sure, than they're paying little Tommy and get the same result. Just crap. And that's pretty profound, again, about the hyperventilating weathercasters on there. That's the first time I've heard about that, isn't it?
Yeah, I've never
really
noticed that before.
Very profound stuff. Customers say FPL failed to act on utility pole complaints. In Tamarack, a woman complained for years to Florida Plunder and Loot about a decayed utility pole, one so decrepit that a tree was growing out of it. The company never replaced it, and the pole, sure enough, snapped in Hurricane Wilma, leaving without electricity for 11 days. How do you like that? A tree so decrepit that a tree was growing out of it. In Lighthouse Point, frustrated by years of power outages, the mayor hired a consultant who earlier this year found 27 poles in need of repair. Many of those poles are even more damaged after this hurricane season, the city's mayor said. And the Croissant Park section of Fort Lauderdale. What the hell is Croissant Park?
I don't know.
Sounds like a frog place to me.
Sure does.
A couple warned FPL last year about a hollowed-out pole so riddled with woodpecker holes that cable and telephone workers refused to climb it. It, too, went down in the storm. I wonder what Walter Lance thinks about that. I wonder what Mike Lance thinks about it, huh? My. We reported that so exactly what happened wouldn't happen, said Danny Davies, standing next to the broken wooden shaft behind her house in Croissant Park. The broken wooden shaft. That's what drives me crazy. She says, my pole's rotten. We report the pole's rotten and it goes down. And I got news for you, man. There are few things worse in life than when your pole is rotten. Throughout South Florida, such stories of poorly maintained utility poles and FPL's failure to respond are being told by angry residents, frustrated, pissed off, and fired up by days and days and days and days of power outages they think could have been avoided if the company had paid attention to their complaints. You bastards, you quizlings, you liars. That's the thing about me. They lie like hell. As across South Florida, October 24, Hurricane Wilma split or toppled an estimated 7,000 to 10,000 utility poles, contributing to power outages that left more than 98% of the region in the dark. Almost 2 weeks later, there were still 341 South Florida customers without power as of Saturday afternoon. When is this story from? Saturday. Well, we got that down to 176. They're really doing a heck of a job. Company executives say they were surprised by the amount of damage to poles, but a July report by the Florida Public Service Commission that I told you about last week had warned that FPL's program for inspecting distribution poles was inadequate, unacceptable. It said the company's contractor performed inspections at such a slow rate that it would take 60 years to reach all the poles in the system. 60 freaking years, we'd all be pushing up daisies by the time they got around to your pole. The report said FPL's inspection system would allow weakened and rotten poles to remain in service until basically they just fell down, I guess. And they did. Florida has no laws requiring that utility poles be regularly inspected, said Kevin Bloom, spokesman with the commission. In contrast, California's established regular inspection cycles and record-keeping requirements for its electric utility companies that include checking wooden poles. In the state's urban areas, most wooden poles must be visually inspected once a year. That's in California. Not in Florida. FPL defended its pool inspection policy on Friday, rejecting suggestion that its maintenance is deficient. A forensic team examining pools that fell during Wilma's found that many of those pools showed no signs of deterioration, said FPL spokesman Michael Villafana. Our maintenance program is year-round, he said. We've invested more than $1 billion alone to enhance the distribution infrastructure since 1998. Right. The company said Friday it couldn't research the specific complaints that the Sun-Sentinel examined. Villafana said that once company analyzes the damage caused by Wilma, it'll review its procedures if warranted. If warranted, my ass! If warranted. How do you like that?
Nice.
In the past, Villafana said problems with pools played just the way we know about that. State Senator Skip Campbell of Tamarack, whose district office has been closed for almost 2 weeks because it doesn't have no power, called for an investigation of FBL's poll failures by either the legislature or the Public Service Commission. You go, Skip.
Oh!
We need answers as to why so many polls went down, he said. We're going to have to investigate this and look at how they document inspections. As the debate over the company's poll maintenance continues, the financial stakes are high. At some point, FPL is expected to go before the PSC to seek customer surcharges to pay for damage from Hurricane Wilma. Unless FPL comes up with stunning and a compelling explanation that answers these concerns, we're going to explore them in depth, said Harold McLean, the state's public counsel, who represents consumers and utility matters. I wonder if he's kin to Doug McLean. This is not an issue we're going to ignore. It's a matter of getting our arms around it and seeing how widespread of a problem is. Maybe that's what they were doing in that tea room at the banana joint, Banana Joe's.
Getting their arms around it?
Around it. If the Commission holds hearings on compensation, it's likely to hear customers tell of ignored complaints and inadequate repairs in a retirement community in eastern Tamarack, where many get around on motorized scooters.
Oi!
Residents say they had complained to FPL for years about swaying utility poles behind their houses. It was kind of like Sammy K. It was swinging and swaying with Sammy King. They kept jerking me around from one customer service to another, said Ray Onitas of Northwest 47th Street, who said he's seen the pole swing back and forth several feet in moderate winds. Every time I called, they said, "We got your report." The company finally sent a crew, he said, but it just propped up the pole behind his house with a few pieces of wood. The hurricane blew down that pole along with three others along the same line. The pole had broken at the base where the wood had visibly thinned. Oh, but they were propping it up, though. How do you like that? How about some props for FPL? What do you say?
Oh!
Henry Barrow?
Yo.
Oh, God. How's that poll coming? 514 votes on our poll, and we do have a whole bunch of bedtime stories up there. Again, Josh and Eric want to apologize for their slacked offness during the weekend, but Josh had no internets, and Eric I didn't want to be bothered with. Well, I don't want to keep emailing him and then calling him, actually, and speaking to him on the weekend of my birthday, especially after he sent me that invoice for that stupid... couldn't he have waited till today, you think?
Why wait?
Yeah, why wait when he knows the check is on the way right away, which it is. Fatso. 514 votes. Which of these things stand out most in your memory? Where were you when the 9/11 attack took place 219? We've never done this poll, by the way. And this is not one that Sean sent in. I came up with this out of my own nimble mind. Wow. How do you like that?
Pulled it right out of your ass?
Right out of my ass. The 9/11 attack took place 219. You first got laid 140. JFK was shot 98. Hurricane Andrew struck Florida. That's got...
About 30, man.
Now, let's see. When Hurricane Andrew struck at IOD, didn't we just open up the pot and put the network news on? Oh, no. I'm sorry. Seriously, Tom Jicha is the Antichrist. I guarantee you on that bald head there's a 666. The Challenger exploded 20. Bill Clinton was impeached 5. That nasty stain on the blue dress. Bobby Kennedy was shot 2. Ronnie Reagan and Martin Luther King shot. Got the big so far. How do you like that? Are they like, Reagan I can understand.
Yeah. Well.
For several reasons. But Martin Luther King, what's that all about? I guess the dark folks don't have their power back. Maybe they're all the ones that don't have the power back out of the 176,400 families that still are waiting for that light to come back. Now, I imagine yesterday, 5:30 in the afternoon when your power came back on, that you must have been like, well, you're probably too sick to be jumping around screaming and yelling.
Well, no, I woke up feeling a little bit better on Sunday, but I was actually out running errands, and when I came back, all the street lights, the front porch lights were on.
Yeah.
And I can't describe it. We would have to dump it.
Really?
The feeling that I had.
Holy.
It was a warm, wet feeling. Let's put it that way.
I'll be damned.
Yeah.
Thank God, he said. Thank God. The 6th of November, for Christ's sakes. Damn near 2 weeks of sitting in the dark with that generator and those gas fumes poisoning his wife and young daughter.
Yeah, and myself.
Yeah.
Now I know what you're
back
thinking.
Today. We got school going.
Yeah, we
They got the schools in tip-top shape. Not. But we got school, Dade, Broward. What about Palm Beach? I'm not really sure. I guess Palm Beach is back too, huh?
I would assume.
I didn't pay any attention. I'm tired of worrying about Palm Beach. Leave that to Palm Beach, to the mavens up there, okay? 11:13 at 560 WQM. When you think about mattresses, you think about Sealy Posturepedic, the top-selling mattress brand in America. I get choked up just thinking about it. It's the gold standard. And when you think of buying your next Sealy Posturepedic, think about Dial-A-Mattress. 1-800-MATTRESS, the easiest possible way to get a new Sealy Posturepedic. With Dial Mattress's factory direct prices, nobody anywhere sells Sealy Posturepedic for less. And Dial Mattress carries the area's largest inventory. What'd you just say? With all sizes and cover levels in stock, ready for same-day delivery. You heard it. Get a better night's sleep as soon as tonight if you make that call now. 1-800-Mattress, #1 in customer satisfaction. And like I keep telling you over and over again, these are about the only people that let you choose the date and time for delivery. You pick a 2-hour window when you're going to be home, like noon to 2, 1 to 3, 2:14 to 4:14, and they show up. Even the very same day you call, with a no-risk 30-day comfort trial.
About 30, man.
In your own bedroom. Plus free setup and free removal on all deliveries. They take away that smarmy old bedding and set up the brand new one for you, no extra charge. So, like I've been doing, join over 2 million customers who skip the chain stores. And these days, with all the stuff that's going on right now, the last thing you need is to be schlepping around to buy a mattress. Just sit there on your ass and make one easy call to Dial a Mattress. 1-800-Mattress, 1-800-MATTRES. Leave off the last S for stupendous, spectacular savings.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Absolutely.
Rectum.
I'm dying over here. Miami has the Dolphins, still the worst football team.
Yes.
They're every gambler's nightmare. They're every bookie's dream.
All right.
They can't score any touchdowns, not even one field goal. And when you say Miami, you're still talking toilet bowl, 'cause they're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins number. How many teams in the league?
30, man.
Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Don't bet on them, you'll always lose. The Dolphins can't beat anyone, can't even beat the spread. I wish that Vince Lombardi could come back from the dead. Nick Saban makes them practice while he wears that stupid hat. He'll end up like their last head coach, that loser Dave Wannstedt, and they're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins number. How many teams in the league? 32. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. I miss Don Shula. How about you?
Yes.
Some Dolphins are in trouble with lots of legal strife. Their tight end likes to work out by beating up his wife. Half the team are criminals, the other half's on drugs. And this is what will happen when you draft a bunch of thugs. And they're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins number. How many teams in the league? 32. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. They really are a motley crew. The Dolphins have no blocking. They've got no passing game. I've got just one suggestion. They ought to change their name to the Miami Tampons. And why do such a thing? They're good for just one period and have no second string. And they're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins number. How many teams in the league? 32. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Again, the fans begin to boo. You suck! The Dolphins have no balls except the ones they're playing with. I just can't wait to see how Ricky Williams takes a hit. It doesn't matter if he never has another toke. It seems that this team's playoff dreams have all gone up in smoke. And they're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins number, oh what the hell, 32. Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, now they're through.
20 past 11 at 560 WQAM. Boy, got a big game tonight. How come we're not carrying that game on your sports station? How come we don't have the Patriots-Colts game tonight, Josh?
I don't know.
We don't have no Monday Night Football. In fact, well, obviously Mo's not going to be doing that game because he's in town.
At least I'll be able to watch it.
Yeah, at least we'll be able to watch it. Are you still eating, you guys? What is going on over there?
More. He apparently ordered a lot of food.
Jesus K. Christ, man.
Wish I had some more of that chili.
From Howie's? Howie's would sling you over a whole bunch. They'll send you however much you want. And I'll tell you what, why not wash it down with some nice spaghetti and meatballs from Tony's?
Just
Dave faxes, this is a good name for FP Hell. I like that.
Yeah.
That's cute. FP Hell. Dave says about 6 months ago, an SUV drove an electric pole across from my apartment in Fort Lauderdale. They wrapped it up with 2 pieces of wood and caution tape, FPL did. It fell when a hurricane hit. They have yet to fix it. 2 pieces of wood and caution tape. All right, let's hear it.
Put the
for
tape
Flutter
on
Flutter
there.
Loot, FP Hell.
I warned you.
Now, FP Hell boss's bright idea, home generator. This is Josie Landbeat. What rag is he writing in now?
I don't know.
Oh, doesn't even say where this is from. Oh, the Palm Beach Post, probably, if you'd have read it. Good place for you, Josie. He says, what did FPL boss Louis Hay the Turd know that we didn't? According to county records, Hay made a timely improvement to his $2.4 million Palm Beach Gardens mansion a few weeks before Wilma hit. August 1st, he applied for a county permit to install a heavy-duty generator. His company handled the job, of course, paperwork showed. Florida Plunder and Loot. So if the CEO of the state's largest power provider gets his own generator, does that mean he expects long blackouts? Page 2 tried to contact Hay to ask him, but he didn't return calls. An FPL spokeswoman, Mary Lou Kramer, said, no grid is hurricane-proof, and now that FPL's in the business of selling generators, Lou Hay has been a customer. Hay's Marsh Golf Club, Casa, still has no power as of Friday, Kramer said. This is as of Friday. If you're spending your first electricity-free weekend, perhaps with a couple more on horizon, it says, put this and other Hay tidbits in your barbecue and smoke it. What's the date of this? Is this from the previous weekend or when? It sure be nice to know.
Yeah, well, it just showed up.
I don't know. Huh?
In the mail. It showed up in the mail.
Yeah. The man made $6.3 million. This is Louis Hay the Turd. He made $6.3 million in cash and stocks last year, including $1.5 million as a performance bonus, according to FPL's most recent SEC filings. Say what? Performance bonus? Yup, the badly maintained lines and the weeks it took to repair damage from 2004's Francis and Jeannie earned the guy at the head of that mess a bonus. We considered all aspects of his performance, said J. Hyatt Brown. Oh, you're doing a heck of a job, Brownie. An Ormond Beach insurer, former state house speaker, and FPL director on the committee that created Hay's pay package. He denied that stock performance instead of service to consumers drives Hay's compensation. And while hurricanes are awful occurrences, Mr. Hay performed admirably. He said, I don't think people realize how difficult it is to respond when you have utter devastation. Last year, the Eye of Charlie passed over my house, and we had no electricity for 4 days, said J. Hyatt Brown. Hay's base salary was $1 million with $1.2 million in stocks, among other goodies. That also included a $27,000 a year lease on a car, $30,000 a year medical insurance premium. So when time came to approve Hay's pay, did the committee even discuss the company's hurricane recovery performance? You're asking an inappropriate question I won't answer, Brown said. Well, Josie says, sorry for asking. Heck of a job, Brownie. Well, he got his taken care of. He had that big-ass generator, and I bet you his air conditioner was purring away, and his refrigerator, and his TV, and his pop-up toaster, all of these things. Guaranteed. Probably ought to sneak a call or two in here, but I'm loaded with stuff. Of course, we don't have any right now, so it's just as well. Because to me, today is like, that's another reason I figured screw it over the weekend with that stories and everything else. Let's start today as like D-Day, you know, like the day we get back to normal. We got George back today. Josh has got his internets back. Whoop. Eric is up there with a big smile on his face eating a bunch of stuff from probably Crystal. Probably got a sack full of burgers. They got Crystal in Orlando, right? Sure they do.
I would imagine.
Tampa and Orlando. And they got cheerleaders who do stuff in the tea room there at the Banana Joe's. From Carolina. Nothing would be finer than to wipe out Carolina, except for George's joint up there. Although now would be a good time with Mom up there. Is she still there?
No, she came back.
Like I said, too late.
A wonderful time, yeah.
She had a wonderful time?
No, it would be a wonderful time to go there now.
Because she's long gone.
Right.
Oh, here come a call or two. We'll sneak some in. But I've got my usual hefty pile and some of this fairly important stuff. I mean, really like going to save the world from itself. Well, that's right. That's probably, I forgot. That's why Tom didn't point anything out, because he gets very upset when I read from the newspaper, and everybody else on the station was reading stuff that we got. And the people over there at IOD probably were also reading stuff off the internet, and out of his newspaper, as a matter of fact. WQAM, hello.
Hello, QAM?
Yes, sir. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Can I talk to Neil about Jim DeFini? Did you hear that story Saturday where he said put gas in your sugar in the generator for people running all night?
Jim DeFini said put sugar in your generator?
No, he's saying he didn't want generators running all night, and then to solve that problem, just sneak over there and put sugar in it. On Channel 4.
Yeah.
You didn't see that?
No, I did not.
On the website.
Oh, you're very lucky.
No, I didn't see it. Oh, that's right. Now, somebody called on Friday and said that they're actually, has he got a regular spot on there or something on Channel 4?
Apparently, well, I don't know if you've ever seen him. There's 2 points here.
I told you I saw him. Don't you remember the day I was like gasping for oxygen?
Okay.
Having seen him, I was in Europe, and on CNN International, they had him on there with that story about how he got canned with the Herald and the suicide and so on.
Well, he's always gasping for oxygen. But then the other thing about
he makes Dave Game look like Tom Brady.
Well, as pleasant as he is to look at, and he might be a very good writer, and he is.
He's not.
Well, he can write way better than he can speak. Let's just put it that way.
Are you knocking poor Jim DeFeedy now?
Oh, I'm just saying.
Rip him an ass.
You got a lot of material.
Crap. My God. Unshaven and he had fat on top of fat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he's got British.
Even his layers of fat had fat. And for me to start calling people fat, that's really fat. That's like Josh Friedman fat. That's like fat boy fat. You know who I had a dream about? You'll never believe this. Speaking of fat, I'll give you a clue. I forget what night it was. Friday, Saturday, didn't make any difference. About Al Goldstein.
How about that?
I was in my apartment in Amsterdam. Not that I have one anymore, but it was some fictitious apartment. I walked outside, and there was Al.
I hate the Irish.
And he said, use the apartment. No, seriously, I said, there was Al. I don't remember what the hell happened, not much. And I thought, gee, you look pretty good losing all that weight. And then he went into this long thing about how they stuck him out there on, what was the, Rikers Island?
Oh, yeah.
And he was in a slammer. Look what they did to Al Goldstein, man. Look what they did to Larry Flint. Look what they did to Lenny Bruce. Sign American, baby.
This is Neil Rogers.
Hold the line.
This is 560
or else.
QAM.
Bitch. Coming to theaters soon. Rocky 6. Rocky takes on the best of the best at the Senior Center Slugfest.
I love to play bingo.
I got a bingo!
That's what you think, Grandpa. Now that's a bingo.
You came here to put me in a hole.
I came here to put you in a hospital.
Brace yourself, Grandma.
How do you like me now?
Rocky 6. Rated PG-65. No one over 65 allowed without bladder control.
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
It's 11:31 at 560 WQM. Here's a fax from Howard the Faxer. It says here, not Howard the David did it. That's what it says. Howard says, I live in Palm Beach Gardens, and this time got hit hard by the hurricane, so I went online and filed claims with both my insurance company and with FEMA. The FEMA application was very interesting, and initially I qualified because I lost power for at least 5 consecutive days. I was also asked whether I had insurance, to which I responded yes. I also answered yes to questions concerning whether a member of my household lost wages, which my adult daughter did, due to the hurricane, which I had purchased, whether I purchased any equipment, such as a chainsaw or generator, between 10/18 and 11/18, whether I own my own business, which might get me a loan. They then tell you that they'll send you an application in the mail to fill out and assign me a claim number. Imagine my surprise when I opened my mail on Saturday and found out they've already denied the claim I haven't even filed yet. It's denied because I have homeowners insurance. It says if I'm lucky, I'll see an adjuster this month. I can file an appeal within 60 days. That's really great. My homeowner's insurance does not cover my adult daughter's lost wages, the purchase of a chainsaw and generator, or provide me with a loan. Way to go, FEMA. I guess they only pay phony claims. Now you're getting onto it, Howard.
And deadbeats. Don't forget deadbeats.
And Howard the Faxer says, incidentally, I happened to listen to Mo's rant last week when about 8 consecutive callers were hung up on because they either called him Mo or accused him of stealing pizza. It was really funny as opposed to the rest of his show. Why doesn't he go along with it? He could still hang up on offenders, call them knuckleheads, and play a Stooges sound effect. As I told my kids when they were younger, when somebody teases you, that's it. Just laugh with them, and at all costs, do not show anger. That's the object of the calls, and if he would play along with them, they'd stop. I'm glad my kids are smarter than he is, said Howard the Faxer. That's what Howard the Faxer says, Mo. I didn't say that. I didn't say nothing. But I think he has a point. Plus, like I tried to say Friday, I really don't want to go through the whole thing again, but this coming at a time when we were so limited in the number of people that even had phone service back on, and even the people that did have electric and phone, like on a good sunny day we get enough idiots, but you can imagine what we were down to, the dregs of anybody that would have time to be calling a talk show, and what would you get? And that's exactly what we got.
I think those people get their service back first, don't they?
Yeah, it's the idiots. That's right. I know who gets it first. Yeah, him.
Oh, I'd love to give it to him first.
And your buddy Ron. Ron actually had a couple of good lines last week. In fact, after that episode, the next day I went through the story on the air, and he called in, Prozac for Howard. It was cute. Storm makes swap shop drive-in a drive-through, causes $1.5 million in damage. The swap shop. Poor Preston. Boy, this is not the last year or so. This is not the year for Preston's hen. You know what? Are you cracking your knuckles again?
No, I was smacking my lips.
Oh, waiting for the food from Tony's to show up? You're not actually getting more food.
No, I'm not.
What a Make yourself sick as on the first day back.
What a great idea.
Yeah. No, I'm not putting up with Miguel tomorrow. Anybody that says he washed the masculinity right off his body with that loofah, that sponge. Oh. And I bet you he was serious too, wasn't he, when he said it?
Yeah, probably.
Probably rubbed himself pink.
You know, in the pre-Joyce days, I had a marvelous line for that, but I'm going to let that pass right now. Moviegoers won't be driving to the swap shop anytime soon. It's lost its billing as the largest drive-in theater in the world for now. We've lost 11 of 14 screens, said owner Preston Henn, lamenting damage from 2 hurricanes that ripped through his multi-million-dollar emporium in 3 months. He started the business as a drive-in more than 40 years ago. How do you like that? Remember driving by that thing on Sunrise there before they had the walkover, the overpass thing there?
Sure. I actually attended a movie there.
At the drive-in?
At the drive-in a long time ago.
Wow. Hurricane Katrina in August caused $100,000 in damage. Hurricane Wilma's wrath will total more than $1.5 million. Screen number 9 was the biggest and the oldest. It hasn't been damaged since we started, said Henn. Today, all that remains of number 9 is Thunderbird. The name of the drive-in surprisingly stayed attached to a grid-like backing. The metal sheets that made up the screen lay in a pile, with debris from twisted awnings and other beveled sheets in the northeast corner of the complex. Got a little picture of all the crap, all the mung just laying there in a heap. Henn thinks the drive-in could be fixed within a month. The outdoor flea market is operating. Flea market's operating. No circus, though, no elephant droppings. For more than a week, workers have pulled out hundreds of nails, secured 30-foot logs,
About 30, man.
and sifted through layers of metal to save unharmed parts. They aim to restore the Broward County landmark. Henn came to Florida in the 60s and opened the drive-in on November 22nd, 1963. His drive-in hasn't gone without controversy. In 1964, 2 black youths, the Panther Do-Riders and the NAACP Youth Council, picketed, saying the movies were unfit for young people. The Panther Do-Riders. I wonder if they were kin to the Dudley Do-Riders. Surrounded by a quirky menagerie of vendors and until recently a circus, the old-fashioned outdoor cinema survived an industry where high-tech movie houses and multiplexes are common. It's been a place for old and young, courtships and rekindling. Timothy Hansen, 40, recalled taking his dates to the drive-in, sporting his beige 86 Monte Carlo. I had an 86 Monte Carlo. How do you like that?
Yeah.
Piece of crap.
Okay.
The swap shop maintenance worker has been watching movies there since '83. It's nice to just sit in your car and listen, said Hansen, who dislikes cinemas because people talk too much. It's really going to be missed for a while. Hanna has insurance for the buildings, including the skywalk that Wilma damaged, but he'll have to pay out of pocket for the damaged outdoor assemblages on the 88-acre campus, including the drive-in. The movies are just 5% of his revenue, said, but these movies are what got his business going. He said on Friday, workers tried to salvage what they could from screen number 6, its brawny logs ripped up from the cement. Across the lot, workers pieced together screen number 1, binding exposed logs that anchored the 32-foot tall screen. Michael Warren said, I told you one time, just a few weeks ago, ironically, I saw the history of drive-in movie theaters on one of my many cable channels.
You did mention that.
I think it was on the drive-in channel, as a matter of fact, appropriately enough.
These kids here today, they don't know what they're missing.
It was pretty interesting. On Friday, I just got through saying that. Across the lot, workers pieced together the screen number 1. Michael Warren, Sr., 39, of Sunrise, has a tool shop right below screen number 1. We'll be back together soon. I have faith in Preston Henn, he said. His son, Michael Jr., 16, is less optimistic. The movies were one of the main attractions, that and the circus, said Michael Jr. Now that the circus is gone, they'll have to make all their money from the vendors, he said. You will just watch, Michael Jr., see the magic that Preston and his Henn and old Nick Navarro. Huh?
He puts on a hell of a show, Preston, just all by himself.
Yeah. Now, stop. Don't be piling on now.
Huh?
Guy had all of this damage just because he's gone through some difficult times recently. Next thing, you'll be picking on poor Jim DeFeedy. You know, seriously, if Jim DeFeedy went on the air on Channel 4, if that's a true story, he said that because the generators were making so much noise and if it's bugging you like it's bugging me, put sugar in the generator. I don't know, because obviously I'm not there, and even if I were there, I wouldn't watch that fat tub of crap if it paid me by the minute.
I bet he's got a lot of sugar to put in generators.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You could drain about 400 pounds of sugar out of his fat ass just to fill up. You could probably fill the whole neighborhood's generators with it. I still would like to know if Pompano Park is open for simul chasing. I'd like to know something, you know? I'd like to know a little something. Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, we passed along a lot of very good information, but if nobody tells you nothing, you don't have no something. That's what pisses me off. Damn it. 598 votes on the poll. We might have a shot at 700 today. What do you think? Now, what did we do the other day? 800? Josh?
Yeah, about.
We did 750 to one day, and then we did like 800. Now, that's not bad, considering the fact that nobody had, half the people still didn't have no power.
Right, we're
a
getting
lot of people, even people like you that did have power, didn't have no internets. So I felt, that was something. A little pat on the back, like somebody out there cares. 601 votes. How do you like that? We got to get to like 850 today. That's my goal. If we get to 850, I'll forget about Tom Jicha, what a jackass he is. I'll forget about what a grotesque big tub of crap Jim DeFeedy is. What would you be thinking to put him on the air? What could anybody be thinking?
You know, they do things like that.
He has a face and a body definitely not for television.
Hey, remember the Joey Reynolds show?
Yeah, with a cardboard audience.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of
601
faces
votes. Which of these things stands out most in your memory? Where were you when the 9/11 attack took place? 250. That's first and foremost, and probably most recent. When you first got laid, 167. Well, probably a lot of you are still waiting. JFK was shot, 117. Hurricane Andrew struck Florida, 33. The Challenger exploded, 25. Bill Clinton was impeached, only 5. Solamente cinque. Bobby Kennedy was shot, 3. Martin Luther King was shot. We finally got 1. We got some dark guy out there. Now, you know, it was. I got to be honest with you. I don't remember where I was when that happened. Do you? You weren't even alive then, were you?
Let's see. Yeah, you were. Right?
No, 68. Try Martin Luther King.
Oh, sorry. I'm still on Kennedy.
37
years
years
but
ago.
I was 4 years old, and I might have been still in Cuba.
And Josh wasn't even an idea yet in 68.
No, it wasn't.
He would know Martin Luther King if he came back right now and smacked him in the face, which he probably would. And when Ronald Reagan was shot, it still got the big. How do you like that?
Rock solid.
I was in high school.
Well, they forgot, just like Irani did.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
All the crap you can unwrap, all the slime, all the time.
The bird flu is ruining our dinner. It's not safe to eat a chicken or turkey. All the birds should be dead by winter. Now mad cows are safer than poultry.
I'm dying over here.
It got to be the dumbest thing I've heard, but you're all running scared about the bird. Even Alfred Hitchcock would be amused with all the phony mice about the alien. There's information they don't want you to know, so the fear factor keeps you under control. Weeks of confusion's what they're handing you, with all the phony mice about the alien. They enroll those who be sharing the stuff in the marriage jail of Oz, I hope. That's not something you'll see on the news, with all the phony mice about the alien. We are a nation of gullible sheep,
Absolutely.
led by a simpleton retarded breed. Posse commentators is what they want to do, with all the phony mice about the alien.
14 till noon. Where's Tippy Hedren when we need her, huh? Here's a fax from Oski, who's bitching and moaning, and rightfully so, about FPL down at Homestead, and about how we called him about a wire that was hanging and they still haven't done prep. Well, it's too long to read it all in the air, but good luck, Oski, and clean up your act a little bit.
No, I don't blame him.
Huh?
I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. I don't blame anybody out there for being pissed off, fired up, and on the verge of murdering somebody because of a Florida plunder and loot. I don't blame anybody. Because, like I ranted and raved all last week, and by the way, you'll be very displeased to know that there have been some people in the media sucking up to FPNL.
What do you mean displeased to know? That's all I see.
No, you're kidding me.
In between patting themselves and each other on the back, it's like hearts and flowers for FPL. They got the same footage of the same guy twisting the same pair of wires on a pole that they just show over and over and over again.
And these are the people that Tom Jicha is patting them on the back of what a wonderful job they did under tremendous duress.
Well, what are they going to do? FPL runs spots on their station too.
I see. Well, one thing about us, though, we realize FPL is a monopoly and as a result is an institution. So whether they run spots or not, if they screw up, we're still going to carve them an ass. Big time. And deservedly so. I mean, if they're willing to sell out at a time when all these people were without power for like 2 freaking weeks, and we still got 176,000 households without as of November the 7th. Today is November the 7th, and it's like 2 weeks ago today was the hurricane. Am I correct about that?
2 weeks ago today.
2 weeks ago today, and there still are people without, and George just got his back yesterday. And in Broward County, there's still almost 109,000 households with no power. And we're supposed to be patting them on the back, talking about what a great job, while they lie to us about how their poles were in great shape, and they weren't split or cracked, and it's all a bunch of baloney, and yada, 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 in total denial. Speaking of incompetence, how do you like that death row inmate who just walked out the door in Houston? Now, well, he's back. What a rocket scientist, huh? A Texas death row inmate who escaped from a Houston jail last week was arrested last night outside a liquor store in Shreveport, Louisiana. Police and U.S. Marshals be saying. Outside a liquor store. Charles Victor Thompson, 35, was the subject of a 78-hour nationwide manhunt after he escaped Thursday by shedding his handcuffs and prison jumpsuit for street clothes in a jailhouse booth and telling the deputies he was meeting with a lawyer. Thompson offered authorities no resistance when arrested, and Mary Ann Mattis, a spokeswoman for the U.S. Marshal Service office in Houston, be saying that marshals had received several credible tips that Thompson was in the area, and police found him around 8 o'clock last night on a payphone outside a liquor store in Shreveport, about 240 miles north of Houston. He appeared to be intoxicated, Mattis said. The officers walked up to the escaped killer and asked him his name. He told them, "You know who I am." Authorities said Thompson had a bicycle with him.
Okay.
Thompson was being booked at Shreveport's municipal jail shortly after 9 p.m. Sunday, a jailer told CNN, and was due to appear before a judge today. Officers determined he was too drunk to be questioned immediately, but Jabran Siddiqui, a clerk at the liquor store, said the arrest was more dramatic than Mattis described. Siddiqui said he was working at the shop's drive-through window when he saw some maniac kind of guy running around outside. About the same time, he saw another man get out of a car with a shotgun. He said Thompson was heading toward his store and feared a shootout was in the works, so he grabbed the gun and walked to the door. All right, this isn't Texas after all. I was shaking, like shivering and everything, but I wasn't losing my grip, Siddiqui said. I think he was planning to come inside the store and, I don't know, hold us hostage or something. The man with the shotgun turned out to be an undercover police officer and said, "Oh, undercover police officer," which reminds me of that song Undercover Angel by, who is it?
You can do it.
Who is it?
I don't know.
Undercover. Well, anyway, on the Time Life stuff, I was watching the infomercial last night because I couldn't turn it off for the CDs.
Alan O'Day.
Alan O'Day. Now, the one thing about those Time Life series is that you get to see a lot of recording artists that you never saw before. You had no idea what they looked like. Alan O'Day, who I always thought was like a young guy who looked maybe like Donny Osmond. He sounds like Donny Osmond a little bit, doesn't he?
A little bit.
I always liked that song a lot, Undercover Angel. I thought it was cute, and I thought maybe he was cute. Well, he looks like Ron Jeremy on a bad day, Alan O'Day.
Yeah, I saw one of those, and I don't remember who it was now, but there was an all-white group, and I always thought it was a black guy. So
yeah. There are a lot of groups and artists that you never saw before, especially the ones like the one-hit wonders, you know, that were not around long enough to really get to see them anywhere. And you see them on there and you think, holy cow, that's what they look like?
Right. I remember Mungo Jerry, when I found out he was a white guy, I thought, get out.
Oh, yeah.
What that guy looks like?
Anyway. Oh, here's a great story. I got a lot of stuff I want to get into right now. We did take that one great call, and, of course, that one stood out so well. It was okay. I don't want to, like, overdo it here. What? Well, no, I got a lot of stuff because, you know, over the weekend I didn't have a chance to put any of this on the internet because Eric and Josh were busy doing something in the tea room with those two cheerleaders.
They wish.
WQ, no, they don't.
Josh
Believe me, they don't. No, they don't. WQAM, hello.
Hi, Neil. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
I got one for your poll. I remember banging my head off the wall when George Bush got reelected.
Yeah, okay. That has a lot to do with the poll, doesn't it? In a very indirect way? No. No, it does not. No, this is not a poll that needs adding to, okay? In other words, otherwise it takes away the whole significance. We could put 80 million things in there that you remember that mean nothing to anybody else, okay? Like, where were you when you saw Pinky Lee die on television, you know, right on TV, have a heart attack? Right?
Right.
Where were you when Buffalo Bob had to fall down laughing because that kid in the peanut gallery was peeing in his pants, or whatever it was, you know, all of these things. A top al-Qaeda operative in U.S. custody was identified as a probable liar months before the Bush administration began using his claims as the basis of its contention that Iraq trained al-Qaeda members to use biological and chemical weapons, the New York Times reported yesterday. Citing newly, see, I don't understand why it's taken this long. We've been talking about this for 2 years now. Why is it taking these people so long? That's because they had that poor chicken in wherever the hell, in the Bahamas.
Yeah, chicken Aruba, my favorite recipe.
Aruba, I'm sorry, in Aruba, down there by Venezuela. And then, of course, what happened to the two chicks in Chatsworth, California? That fat cow with the cowboy boots. What happened to those two? That's the latest hysterical, oh, gee, they're missing. Never saw any follow-up. Citing newly declassified portions of a Defense Intelligence Agency document from February 2002 made available to the Times by Michigan Senator Carl Levin of the Armed Services Committee, the newspaper reported it was likely that the prisoner Ibn al-Shaikh al-Libi was intentionally misleading debriefers about Iraqi support for al-Qaeda's work with illicit weapons. It is possible he doesn't know any further details. It's more likely this individual is intentionally misleading the debriefers, the Times quoted the reporter saying. He's been undergoing debriefs for several weeks and may be describing scenarios to the debriefers that he knows will retain their interest. The document provides the earliest and strongest indication of U.S. intelligence agencies' doubts about Libya's credibility, the Times said. That's not Scooter Libby, that's Abin Sheikh Mohammed Ahmed Libby. President George W. Bush, Vice President Dick Cheney, then Secretary of State Colin Powell, other administration officials cited his input as credible evidence that Iraq was training al-Qaeda members in explosives and illicit weapons use, the Times said. The officials did not mention Libby by name at the time. But Bush, in a speech October 2002, said, "We've learned that Iraq has trained al-Qaeda members in bomb-making and poisons and gases." Levin said the evidence of early doubts about Libya illustrated what he called the administration's misuse of intelligence to justify the war in Iraq. As an official intelligence report, the document would have circulated widely and would have been available to the CIA, the White House, the Pentagon, and other agencies, the Times said, but it was unclear whether it was provided to the Senate panel. A Bush administration official declined to comment to the newspaper on the report on Libby, who was captured in Pakistan late in 2001, and recanted his claims in January of last year. He's just fooling. At the time, he was the most senior al-Qaeda member in U.S. custody, likely being held at Gitmo, the Times said. Levin also noted a portion of the DIA report that expressed skepticism about the idea of close collaboration between Iraq and al-Qaeda, an idea never substantiated by U.S. intelligence, but which was a pillar of the Bush administration's pre-war claims, the Times said. Liar, liar, your pants are on fire. That's what the Bush administration has got in common with FP&L. They lie like crazy. They just make it up as they go along, kind of like we do. 644 votes. You think we're going to find out by the end of the day anything about Pompano Park? See, I want to do it like one day at a time, like that awful show with, was that the one with Bonnie Franklin and Pat Harrington?
That's the one.
Horrible show, just the worst. I might even play the theme song, I'm so upset. But just, maybe we can find out about that today, and then tomorrow we can find out about something else, a little something, you know? Like the Macarena, since it does look like they're going to play that game, the Rangers and the Panthers, Wednesday. Like how much damage they had and what it was, and did anybody pee in the hallway, and what's going on there? Wouldn't it be nice to know all of these things, huh?
Hey, you're asking a lot.
Just a little information would be nice from our hardworking, especially with that crack news crew we got at QAM.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Hola, this is Jennifer Lopez. I have to take my hormones every day to keep the hair from growing back around my nipples. And that's when I listen to the Neil Rogers 12 to 1 hour.
We're about 10 years too late. Yeah, back when things were great. Clinton was president. OJ was innocent. But we could still see friends. And Beavis and Butthead barely had an internet. And there was no spam yet. Never heard about Bin Laden. Wall Street was always in the black. We still cared about Madonna. And not about sneak attacks. And all that great music. Yeah, you could take your pick. Like it was sent from God. No cell phones, no ringtones, no iPods played Oasis or Hootie. That Brandy was a cutie. There was Alanis Morissette and Julia split from Love. And the Pumpkins were smashing. The Beatles tried to cash in, but nothing quite feels right since 1995. 1995. You know Mariah and Whitney, they beat the pants off Britney. We still had some geezers, but also there was Weezer, and we had Sophie B. Hawkins. Yeah, she was good for talking. I wonder if she survived that. 1995.
There's one time he said that in the song, it said 1995. Did you hear that? A little Robert Creeperism in there, I thought.
A little bit.
What are we going to do about these diddling cheerleaders in the tea room in Tampa, huh?
Give them their own TV show?
When you say that Josh and Eric wish that they'd have been in there, but I'm telling you, if you would see, you ought to do yourself a favor and like go online there. Oh, that's right, you got no internet.
No, we have no cable. We have internet.
Oh, I see. Well, you can't have everything. What are you bitching about? You got the power there. You got the cable. I mean, you got the internet. You just have no cable. And, of course, what we'd be seeing on the cable anyway right now, except maybe Playboy TV, which you don't have. I think I'm going to crank that up here now. Oh, I better not.
So what am I looking for online? What's the story called?
I don't know. Just Tampa, Carolina cheerleaders.
Go to TampaBayNews10.com.
There you go. You'll find it anywhere. You'll find it even like on the Weekly Reader. It's on every website. The story is there. You notice how Josh was right on top of that story. He wasn't too story-intensive over the weekend, but boy, he saw the two dykes doing something in the tea room there at the Banana Joe's, and all of a sudden he was on top of it big time. He was all over it. He was embracing it. He was squeezing it. You got it?
Might have been me in that song.
Did you find it?
Finding it.
When you see the picture, seriously, if you tell me that the blonde...
The blonde's fine, okay?
She's okay. I wouldn't
the other girl's got
fine.
huge
She's okay. She's human looking. But the other one, man, oh man, she kind of looks like Peyton Manning.
Yeah, she's got a nose that isn't to be messed around
Oh
with.
my God Almighty!
Got the prize fighter nose.
Yeah, exactly. She's got the Rocky Marciano nose and ears, and I think it's a guy with a bad wig. Maybe that's what was going on. 662 votes. I think we got a definite shot at that 850. What do you think? We're going to do it. Did you find that thing yet?
No.
God, are you slow?
Yes.
I wish the hell I would have still had that story. I wish I'd have saved it. I know I Schmidt canned it. But, thank God, I do have the Who is Henry Barrow story, though. What?
Nothing. It's slowed and slow.
No, come on. Tampa. What's the newspaper? The Tampa Tribune.
Well, they got so much glitz on this website.
Okay. WQAM, hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Neil, how the hell are you?
Great.
Okay, last I heard, Pompano was being used as a staging area for the power and the tree-cutting guys.
Okay.
That might be what he saw.
Right.
And the other thing with the Art Peel suicide partner, it's amazing what people derived out of what they hear, what they pick and choose out of conversation. The guy was having a whole long spiel about, how bad things are, and that's the one thing he remembers about the sugar in the tank. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
It's just a stress relief kind of thing. That's all it was.
In other words, he was just being sarcastic.
Yeah, he was, I guess this guy doesn't understand the difference,
Well, I guess he was so overwhelmed by seeing him that it just affected him, mentally.
I'll tell you, he makes me look good. and as far as hey.
Yeah.
And as far as me and George are concerned, we are not really too concerned how ugly those girls really are. It's just the fact that they were where they were doing what they were doing.
Okay, it's worth 4 points.
Have a vivid imagination. Okay, thanks.
I got the picture, and you're right. But,
I'm telling you, I don't care what she was doing or who she was doing it with. You didn't want to know about it. You didn't want to see it. You didn't want to think about it.
Listen, I will pose them in such a way you won't see her nose.
Okay. Well, I'm sure maybe there's a reason for that. I want to know where it is.
I have plans.
The nose knows. Oh, God, was she Mias or what?
Good
God.
God.
That's what you get. Nothing could be finer than to be a cheerleader from Carolina in the morning.
Yeah, Yahoo.
In Tampa at Banana Joe's, yucking it up in the tea room. I don't know. They're just... See, because guys, we're all supposed to be perverts, and most of us are. But women, are supposed to have just even dykes, okay, should have a little more class, guys doing stuff in the tea room, that goes back a zillion years, okay?
Which I've never understood that, by the way.
What?
Of all of the unappealing places to get something going.
Well, maybe if it don't smell too bad in there.
If it's a public restroom,
right?
How does it not?
Well, no, I'm not talking about necessarily, although this was. Well, yeah, of course, if it's a public restroom, nobody ought to be doing nothing in there. But it all depends on the kind of joint it is. If it's kind of like a strip club or some kind of a shady, yeah, stuff happens.
It's not like we haven't taken a friend into the shower, but that's your home.
But the idea of two dykes doing something in a public tea room, it I don't know, it leaves me limp.
I'll
and
give it a look.
In the case of those two, I'm sure it leaves you limp too. Believe me, trust me. She is just as nasty. She makes Rosie O'Donnell look like Halle Berry. WQAM, hello. QAM. Tom Jicha Central, hello.
Yeah. Hey, Neil, I got something for you.
Yep.
Not only does Mo steal pizza, but he cheats at golf.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, he's got an extra ball in his pocket all the time. He actually...
That's that extra ball we were always hearing about. Was it you or somebody else told me that they were in the tea room with Mo and they found out he had an extra ball? Well, that's the way it goes. Sometimes guys are lucky that way.
It wasn't me.
I'm sure of that.
Maybe it's a spare.
Always can't hurt.
No.
Now, that day that everybody's getting all whipped up about the whole pizza thing, he just got out of bed on the wrong side, which he seems to do that almost every day. Now, maybe if he would switch places in bed with the missus and he'd sleep on the other side, then maybe for once he'd get out of bed on the right side.
Or he could get around to bed.
And then that day we could all, bond and what do you think? No, not going to happen. 675 votes on the poll. And we're doing it. 9/11 attack. Look at that, 283. That's what we remember most vividly, sitting right there in that chair. I had just come back from vacation. I think I had either been up here, I was in Europe or something. And I did the show on Monday, and it was the second day back after a vacation on a Tuesday morning. Is that correct?
Yes.
And bada bing, out of nowhere. I'm just sitting there minding my own business, and all of a sudden some people start hyperventilating, and we turn on, because George probably had some pornographic crap on there, and we turn over to CNN, and there's the pictures of that plane flying in the first tower. And nobody knows, and at that point, we're still thinking like, huh? And, of course, nobody was telling us that the FAA knew that 4 planes had been hijacked at that point.
No.
Which continues leading me to, I have so many doubts about that whole thing, you know? Like, how is it that they couldn't intercept the plane that went into the Pentagon? Assuming that a plane did go into the Pentagon, which there's still doubts about that. Just look at Pentagon Strike if that thing is still working on our website, which I doubt.
I don't know.
An awful lot of questions still about that. And in the meantime, forget about that. The media is just catching up on all this made-up crap about weapons of mass destruction and Al-Qaeda and Saddam and all this other garbage, all the lies, and then all the smear and schmear campaign. They're just starting to catch on to that. I guess they haven't read the Richard Clark and Paul O'Neill books yet, have they? Oh, God forbid. And they certainly haven't seen the Michael Moore, the Fahrenheit 9/11 movie. You know what a commie pinko he is. WQAM, hello.
Hey.
Yes, sir.
How you doing? It's QAM?
Yes, it is.
I just wanted to pass along some info, man. He's asking about, like, what's happening at Pompano Harness Track.
Right.
Yeah, they're using it as a staging site. They got FPL trucks, like, the whole parking lot loaded with them at night. So I don't know if that has anything to do with them closing or how much damage, but I know that lot's full at the end of the day with electric trucks.
Okay, thanks a lot.
All right, man.
I hear they're using it as a staging area. See, that's why there were people coming and going, Josh. I mean, you were right. You were perceptive. You saw there was people going in and coming out and ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. But there's no racing stuff going on there now.
Well, I wouldn't know that.
Well, I would know that because Steve Wolf and Dick Feinberg, my close personal friends, if they had something going on there where they could make a buck or two with all the crap that they're going through between there and Biloxi, believe you me, they would have let me know by now.
By the way,
trust me when I tell you. They wouldn't be like Troy Stratford, leave me hanging and dangling in the dark like a down power line or something like that.
I left Steve a couple messages during that last break.
Right. Well, no, I'm sure we got the answers now. They're using it as a staging area, like the last guy said, who thought he was talking to you or somebody, and the other guy who was on the air, who thought he was on the air, and it was. They're using it as a staging area, and they also were giving out water and ice last 2 weeks there, which was one of the locations we gave. See, and it seems to me, I don't want to sound like we're so much superior, but the fact of the matter is that we weren't, every time some local politician was blowing wind up everybody's butt, we didn't, interrupt and put that on the air because we know the kind of crap that they're going to say. It was useless garbage. There was no meaningful information for your fat-ass governor or the other local politicians who were busy pontificating. So we had the ability to add, to take our time to give out the useful information and maybe put a few people on the air once we got that ability back. You know what I'm saying?
What are you saying?
What I'm saying, if I can find it.
If I had the ability to do it, I'd take you out here right now and kick your...
See what I'm saying?
Teeth in.
Right. Hey, you probably thought I forgot about that.
Oh,
I don't
no.
forget. No, Alex Bennett and his potty mouth. Was he a talent or what, that Alex Bennett?
No.
And when I found out that Norma Kent went up there to Sirius to meet with them, and he looked in the studio, and there was Alex Bennett sitting there, I thought to myself,
all of these things.
Wow, that's another ingredient in the cesspool.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Not that it wouldn't be nice being on Sirius. So I guess Stern pretty close on January on Sirius. Everybody getting Sirius yet or what? No? Oh, and you ought to be pleased about this. Now, I don't know if you, about the chairman of the CBC, or the CPC, CPB.
BFD.
Kenneth Tomlinson resigning. Were you aware of that?
No.
This right-wing Nazi that they put in charge? Because this is right up your alley. Karl Rove, still under investigation for his alleged role in leaking the identity of an undercover CIA agent, faced possible implication in further scandal yesterday after the resignation of an ally accused of misusing public broadcasting funds for partisan political purposes. Kenneth Tomlinson, a friend of the powerful presidential advisor for a decade, was forced to resign on Thursday as chairman of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, where he set out to control what he saw as liberal media bias. An internal report found he had overreached in those ambitions. Yesterday, it emerged that Mr. Tomlinson is also under investigation by the State Department for possible abuses of power in a second job as head of the federal agency overseeing government broadcast to foreign countries. The New York Times reported he was suspected of diverting federal funds to further his partisan agenda at the CPB. The investigation is also looking at allegations that he put unqualified cronies and ghost employees on the federal payroll. There was no suggestion that Mr. Rove was implicated, but the State Department was reported to be looking into emails between the two men. President Bush remains under pressure to fire Mr. Rove. His closest and most trusted advisor, well, we know about Valerie Plame and People with Scooter Libby. The Plame scandal goes to the heart of the Bush administration's rationale for war in Iraq because the leaking of her name was part of an apparent effort to smear her husband, Joe Wilson, former U.S. ambassador who had publicly contradicted administration claims that Iraq was pursuing nuclear weapons program. Well, there you go. There's your other one, Kenneth Tomlinson, another crook.
Excellent.
You see, what did I tell you a few weeks ago when you laughed at me? You thought I was like swishful thinking when I said the deck of cards. I said the deck of cards was crumbling down. Didn't I tell you that?
I just didn't want to jinx it by believing it.
Just like a bunch of dominoes at Domino Park, at Fats Domino Park. Oh, he was also there on some of those time lapse, the ones of the 50s and 60s. Fats. I knew what he looked like. Not good. But he's okay. Antoine Fats Domino, one of my all-time favorites. He's okay. He's walking in New Orleans very slowly with his hip boots on. There you go. Treading very lightly through those Tootsie Rolls floating around. He is good. 12:13 at 560. Huh?
He was floating out of New Orleans there for a while.
There's a lot of stuff floating out of New Orleans. When disaster strikes, in this event Hurricane Wilma, and your home or business has suffered water damage, there's only one place to call, and that's Dry Concepts. I've been using them in my homes for over 20 years. There's nobody does a job like them. They're like miracle workers right there in your house. Dry Concepts can remove excess water and dry your home or business fast using the latest innovations in dry techniques. Dry Concepts drying system can eliminate the need for costly reconstruction and replacement of treasured belongings. Unhealthy mold and mildew conditions are eliminated because they use specialized drying processes. If the damage is more extensive and you had like a really big mess, Dry Concepts licensed contractors can provide needed estimates and professional services too. They give you written guaranteed price no matter what they do for you up front before they start the job. So if water damage from Wilma really hits you hard, panic no more. Call the professionals, the best in the universe, Dry Concepts. Call them toll free from Dade Broward to the Palm Beaches, 1-800-248-5071. That's 1-800-248-5071, or if you have your internets back, it's dryconcepts.com.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Every good Christian knows a game to play, and it's not so very hard to do. The name of the game is the Bible says, if you interpret it the way we do, tell people you know the way. Invite them to your house, take their possessions away, and then you burn it down. You can get somebody to believe anything if you make the Bible say it's true. No matter what you do, you can be guilt-free. The Lord will always forgive you. Pick up a poisonous snake, wave it all around. Find an abortion clinic and shoot a doctor down. Everybody play along with me, okay? Come on, you young Republicans. Beat the crap out of your kids. You're Deuteronomy bound. Go on a pilgrimage and pass the Kool-Aid around. Fight all the chicken heads to make a sacrifice. You got the hang of it.
So 19, I got two more for the poll, and how could we have ever left these off of there? I guarantee you they'll get a lot of votes. And they both have to do with the same person, one of your very favorites.
Yeah.
Let me give you a little audio clue, okay?
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Where were you during the O.J. chase on the freeway? I think that's the best way to put it, right? O.J. chase on the freeway.
Slow speed chase.
Like I said, the O.J. chase on the freeway. And secondly, when the O.J. verdict was announced.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the O.J. chase on the freeway, we were in Vegas. Remember that? You were there.
Yes, we were.
With Fat Rich, who said, oh, he's dead already. They found his body on the side of the road. Yeah, you had the super, too, Richie. Sorry. And we were there, and then we wondered what the hell was going on, and so we're all gathered around the TV, and I was sick as a dog. And then when the verdict was announced, of course, we've been carrying all kinds of crap and talking about it ad nauseum on the air, and we were carrying on IOD. We were on the air, and we were carrying the audio from KFI in Los Angeles. Remember that?
Yep.
And the verdict came over, and they read, not guilty, and I went,
oh, my God.
Just like that. My jaw dropped to my toenails. So those both belong on there. O.J. verdict announced and O.J. on the freeway. Got it? Good. Jewish Defense League figure Earl Krugel, or is that Kugel? Earl Krugel, convicted in a plot to bomb a California mosque in the office of a U.S. congressman, was killed at a federal prison in Arizona, an FBI spokesman said Saturday, on Shabbos no less. Oy, Vezmir.
You go, Earl.
Krugel, 62, was killed in an assault Friday evening. Oh, right in time for Shabbos, right after sundown, no less. At the Federal Correctional Institution in Phoenix, said FBI agent Richard Murray. I wonder if he's kin to Murray the K. Or Murray Rose, the great Olympic swimmer 100 years ago. From Australia. Murray wouldn't release further details, but said federal authorities had opened a homicide investigation. Krugel's wife, Lola, said FBI investigators told her an inmate had struck her husband on the head from behind with a cement block. Earl never saw it happening. She said he was exercising. He'd been at the medium-security prison for 3 days, according to his sister, Linda Krugel, also of Los Angeles, although I still do have a yearning for Luschenkugel. Man, is that good, with raisins. Earl Krugel, a former dental assistant from Reseda, and late GDL leader Irv Rubin were arrested in 2001 and charged with conspiring to bomb the King Fahd Mosque in Culver City and the field office of Republican Representative Daryl E. Issa, who is Lebanese-American. Krugel pleaded guilty in 2003 to one count of conspiracy to violate the civil rights of worshippers at the mosque and one count of carrying an explosive device in connection with a conspiracy to impede or injure an officer of the USA. Despite the plea, he was sentenced in September to 20 years in the slammer. He ain't going to make it. The reasons for the collapse of an initial plea agreement were sealed despite a lawsuit by news organizations to make the details public. During the case, Krugel's lawyers said prosecutors were angered that his client withheld for several months the names of 4 people allegedly connected to the 1985 murder case of Alex Odeh, a regional director of the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee. Several former JDL members suspected the JDL, man. What can I tell you about the JDL? Hubman Dreard. How's Meir Kahane doing? Is he still dead?
Who?
Rabbi Meir Kahane. Don't you remember? From the Jewish Defense League, militant, lunatic, schmata wearing.
Lunatic?
Here's a follow-up on a story. I don't even know if we... I never did get to that story last week. Well, we had bigger fish to fry, you know? About the woman who glued her boyfriend's genitals to his abdomen.
Really now?
Yes. Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Oh, there's nothing like Greensburg. That's right near the Mountain View Inn there by Pittsburgh. I think Mountain View Inn is in Greensburg. They sure got good turkey and stuff in there. And liver and onions. A Westmoreland County jury on Friday ordered a woman to pay $46,200 to her ex-boyfriend for gluing his genitals to his abdomen. Jurors found in favor of Kenneth Slaby of Pittsburgh in a civil case against Gail O'Toole of Murraysville. After 3 days of... I wonder if she knows Father O'Toole. After 3 days of testimony, ordered the payment for pain, suffering, emotional distress, according to television station KDKA. For all the pain and suffering I've been through and the embarrassment, I don't think it's enough, Slaby told reporters after the verdict. It's not enough. Slaby's lawsuit said the two broke... Oh, we had the story last week about the guy whose ass got glued to the toilet. Yeah. Yes, it's a true story. And they had to schlep him out of there. They had to unbolt the toilet seat from the porcelain bus and schlep him out of there. And then finally, as they were dragging his ass out, and the rest of them too, the seat fell off. Anyway, Slaby's lawsuit said the two broke up in 1999 after dating for 10 months. He began dating somebody else. After he broke up with his other girlfriend, Slaby said, O'Toole invited him over to her home May 7, 2000, where he fell asleep. He said he woke up to find that O'Toole had used super glue to stick his genitals to his abdomen, glued his buttocks together, and spelled out a profanity on his back in nail polish. How do you like that? And it was even worse than that. Slaby said O'Toole told him that her actions were a payback for their breakup, and he had to walk a mile to a gas station to call for help. He pressed charges, and O'Toole pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor assault and spent 6 months on probation, but O'Toole's attorney contended that the incident was nothing more than part of the couple's adventurous, consensual sex.
Yeah.
Crazy glue. Yeah.
We do that all the time. We use epoxy in my house.
Woo! Oh, God. Okay, how are we coming here on our poll? 722 vote. OJ, we got the two OJ ones on there, and they're tied with Ronnie Reagan. They all have the...
Oh!
They all get some votes. You mean to tell me that wasn't one of the classic moments of everybody's life, watching that freeway chase on there in L.A.?
It was surreal.
Yeah. The gun to the head. Come on, OJ. Pull the trigger, OJ. And then watching, I think one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life, even worse than those stupid morons, those groupies outside the Michael Jackson trial. Oh, Michael's innocent, all that crap, was the lunatics, the groupies, even the people, probably the water Nazi was there, and probably Screw Ann, too, and Greg. They were probably on the overpass. You go, OJ! Yeah. Watching that was enough to... Pete Rose Jr. ran on drug trafficking charge.
Accused Rose of conspiracy to distribute GBL. That is considered by some a muscle-building steroid. Rose is said to be cooperating with authorities. So what is this drug? Dr. Robert Millman of New York Presbyterian Weill Cornell Medical...
Now, we're not going to talk about drugs on this show. We leave that to George when George is on. So Pete Rose Jr. is in hot water. Now, did you hear about the Miami City Police Chief, his kid in New York?
Yeah,
getting busted?
Right. Big pot buy.
Now, the original story we had on Thursday was it was 100 pounds of pot, and then when the whole story came through on Friday, it goes to show you it was 400 pounds of pot. 400 pounds of pot. 400 pounds of pot. Can anybody even envision how much that is?
Well, that could last me a week.
That should last you about 2 days. 400 pounds? My ass!
Well, it used to be, didn't it?
That's a lot.
If you keep eating that ice cream, it will be again.
Well, now, what is this you just faxed me? Oh, brother. Oh, here it is. You just faxed. How is that possible?
It's an amazing thing.
Brian in Pompano Beach. You're on top of it today, Brian. He faxed us earlier something that was pretty useful, too, but I forget. Oh, about the Challenger. Brian's doing a better show than we are, which isn't saying much.
You go, Brian. When's your show on?
Pete Rose Jr., he could be on the ticket pretty soon if they don't watch it, if they get below. And yeah, next trend, I understand they might have some numbers that have a minus in front. Pete Rose Jr., son of Pete Rose, who's a real slime ball, surrendered to federal authorities today to face charges that he was distributing GBL, a drug sometimes used as a steroid alternative. Distributing. The 35-year-old Rose could face a maximum of 20 years in prison. Oh, come on. The DEA said his arrest is part of a larger investigation into a major GBL trafficking organization. The indictment said Rose admitted that he received GBL from a person in Tennessee while a member of the Chattanooga Lookouts, the AA affiliate of the Cincinnati Reds. He also said that half the players on that team, he supplied them with the drug. According to Rose, teammates would take GBL to wind down after the games. How do you like that? The GBL investigation began in 1989 and has included one of the largest seizures of GBL in history. In January 2004, DEA agents seized about 280 gallons of GBL from a storage unit in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Further investigation revealed that Murfreesboro resident Bruce Michael Wayne, I wonder if that's Bruce Wayne, was a nationwide distributor of the drug. Well, you had to be on drugs to walk around in tights. My God, Bruce Wayne. And what about Robin, though?
What about him?
I'm trying to find it.
The Adventures of Batman with Robin Boy Wonder.
In the cartoon.
Batman and Robin, dynamic duo against crime and corruption. Whose real
He was
identity?
his ward, not his pedophile.
That's what I was. It really wasn't worth it. 28 past noon at 560 WQM. We got the Mo Howard, the pizza thief. Mo Howard David at 2. We got Mad Dog at 4. Curtis Stevenson at 10. No kin to Adelaide. And Ed Kaplan at 10. Another old Jew. Hey, the Emerald Coast is Florida's #1 Asian gourmet buffet, is rated by Zagat Restaurant Review. Now, every Friday through Sunday night, you can enjoy Lobster Fest featuring Maine lobster served Thermidor style. And every night at the Emerald Coast is Crab Fest, with Alaskan snow crab legs, Dungeness crab, and Jonah stone crabs. The menu still includes fresh oysters on a half shell and a sushi bar, that's sushi, with over 30 delicious items looking back at you. The Emerald Coast also serves New York steaks, cooked juicy and delicious just the way you like them, and even hand-carved prime rib. And on the weekends, for dessert, leave room for the Emerald Coast famous 40-inch chocolate fountain. Thank you, Josh. You can hand dip your own strawberries, marshmallows, other decadent treats. In fact, we're going to give Josh the commission on this account because Adam obviously is falling down on the job. Don't forget, the Emerald Coast promotes healthy living, cooking all their fine cuisine only with cholesterol-free canola oil, no MSG, no cornstarch, no crap, no headaches, just a big smile on your very, very fattened puss when you walk out of there. So book your reservations at One Emerald Coast, 3 locations. They're all open and doing business right now in Sunrise, Sunny Isles Beach, and Pepper Pines. For the Emerald Coast Chinese Buffet, which is the best in the universe, call 954-572-3822.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Black baby in this country, and your crime rate would go down.
The federal government just learned about those people today.
Under withering criticism from both parties, Brown offered no apology and mostly blamed others for the debacle that cost hundreds of lives.
Oh! Mike Brown, there's no one left to blame. I said, Brownie, you're the government shame. I said, Brownie, 'cause your career's up in flame. There's no one I know who's more lame. George Bush, you'd better make him shut up before he says it was you who messed up. You can defend him, but I'm sure you will find many think that he should do time.
I was retired in this space.
He's way too dumb to run the FEMA. Some people died when he ran FEMA. Now that everyone knows that your leadership blows, you can go back to your horse shows.
Today, both Republicans and Democrats criticize the fact that Brown is still on the federal payroll. That may be because as long as he remains an administration official, his testimony must be cleared by the White House.
Yeah, I still can't get over the fact that those emails, that they made a little bit of a deal out of it for about 2 minutes, and that was the end of that. I mean, it's so unbelievable. And not only that, but the guy's still on the payroll at the rate of $147,000 a year.
Yeah.
He's still on a freaking payroll. But he's a hell of a snappy dresser, though.
Yes, he is.
And he's going to roll up his sleeves and do. Just like Ross Perot, he's going to do. Just unbelievable. 744 votes on our poll. Which of these things stands out most in your memory? Where were you when the 9/11 attack took place? 315. When you first got laid, 196. When JFK was shot, 141. Hurricane Andrew struck South Florida 42. When the Challenger exploded 37. That was the one with the school teacher. When Bill Clinton was impeached 6. Bobby Kennedy was shot 4. Martin Luther King was shot, got a pair now. The O.J. verdict was announced 1. O.J. being chased on the freeway, none. And Ronald Reagan shot, none. How is it possible that O.J. freeway chase was like, my God. Didn't like stick out in your mind pretty heavy duty?
It went on and on and on. We fell asleep, actually, because when I so long.
Oh. I wish that when he had that gun to his head, you know, I wish that A.J. would have said, pull the trigger and see what happens, O.J. Saved us all a lot of grief, I'll tell you that. And saved those satellite companies a lot of theft, too. That also was on. I'm sure you saw that in the news last week while you were sick as a dog.
Which one?
About O.J. and the satellite having to pay, what is it?
No,
43, however many grand, something.
No, I missed it.
Oh, yeah. In his spare time, when he's not doing drugs, he's stealing satellite signals.
Yeah, who isn't?
Oh, this story, you know something? I don't know why I stuck this in the middle of the pile. It's a little on the long side, but see, there's an old saying, I think my mother used to say, do you think you know something?
Yeah.
I mean, when you hear something that is so radical and so just outrageous, and of course the American people, most of whom never go anywhere because only 10% have passports, so don't try to tell me you get around too much, but the stuff that goes on in the world is, no wonder they eat all that curry, you know? New Delhi. Sharanpreet Kaur, 19, had been married less than 9 months when her husband and his family decided it was time for her to go. Trapping her in the bathroom, her husband clamped his hand over her mouth while his father doused her with kerosene, according to a police document. The father then lit a match, setting his daughter-in-law on fire. She died 5 days later. India's endless dowry wars had claimed another victim. Notwithstanding the gold jewelry, Color TV said other finery that served as the price of admission to her husband's middle-class Sikh household, and Sikh you can spell it any way you like. Charanpreet's new relations were not satisfied with the bounty and kept demanding more, according to Charanpreet's relatives in a statement she gave investigators before she died. Even before this incident, my father-in-law used to put pressure on me to get more money, said the statement by the young woman who was 3 months pregnant. The case is unusual only because Charanpreet lived long enough to point a finger at her alleged attackers who claimed the fire was accidental. Oops. I'm surprised they didn't say it was a suicide. The incident underscores the deeply entrenched nature of dowry and its grim corollary, the murder of young brides whose families fail to ante up, even in the face of rising levels of income and education linked to India's fast-growing economy. In particular, the death of a young newlywed, a shy, deeply religious schoolteacher's daughter, whose husband had a college degree and worked in computer graphics, shows that the age-old practice endures even and perhaps especially among the educated urban middle class in India. Despite laws barring dowry and decades of protest and public awareness campaigns, a nationwide survey of 10,000 households by the All India Democratic Women's Association in 2002 found that the practice was no longer confined to the Hindu upper classes where it originated, but had spread across a broad range of classes and communities, including Muslims and Christians. One consequence is the growing dearth of baby girls in India, where many middle-class parents, fearing the high cost of dowry, have taken to aborting female fetuses identified through ultrasound exams. The skewed sex ratio is most pronounced in relatively prosperous areas such as New Delhi, the capital, where the 2001 census found 868 girls for every 1,000 boys under age 6. The figure for India as a whole is 933 girls for every 1,000 boys. I think in a way it's very shocking that social relations are not changing in a fast-growing economy, said Ranjani Kumari, director of the Center for Social Research in New Delhi. All this modernization, liberalization, globalization, all this modern economy, and the people aren't changing. The mindset is so rigid. Kind of sounds like all those farbish and the right-wing born-again Christians. There are some signs of progress. For example, the number of reported dowry killings has dipped slightly from 6,851 in 2001 to only 6,285 in 2003, the most recent year for which stats are available. And 2 years ago, Indian news media made a heroine out of Nisha Sharma, a 21-year-old computer student who summoned police to her wedding when the groom's family escalated their dowry demands at the last minute. Matrimonial ads placed by parents of prospective brides occasionally come with a caveat: dowry seekers need not apply. By all accounts, however, dowry giving remains the norm in Indian marriages. The union of Charanpreet Kaur and Sarbjeet Singh was no exception. And it goes on with it. We got the story on our website. I don't want to read the whole thing. How do you like that? Not enough in the dowry, baby. Color TV, gold jewelry,
right.
A few other tchotchkes here and there. Not enough. So they doused her with kerosene, locked her in the bathroom, and set her ass on fire. That was the end of her. Won't see her no more. She did hang on for 5 days, though. That's your friends in India.
Yeah, my buddies. They're going to pay for that policy because, like you said in the story, because it's been going on for a long time. They keep aborting those females. The females are going to get scarce, and then what?
And then they'll all turn gay.
Well,
hey, I know a few of those people from India, man. They are party animals, trust me when I tell you.
I question.
Although sometimes that curry aroma kind of gets in the way, rhymes with.
Yay.
20 till 1 at 560 WQAM. If Hurricane Wilma damaged your car so that now you're in the market for a brand new one, get on down and see our good friends at Armstrong Ford of Homestead. To help you through these trying times, Armstrong Ford will even pick you up and bring you to the dealership. Now, Ford Nationwide is giving all hurricane victims a $750 check, and David Rich and his staff also giving you $750. That means they'll give you $1,500 toward the purchase of a Ford only at Armstrong Ford of Homestead. This is in addition, of course, to all Ford rebates and discounts of their entire inventory. When you buy a new Ford from Armstrong Ford, not only do you get a great deal, but you also still get Armstrong Ford's exclusive Tires and Batteries for Life program. And Armstrong Ford, like I've been telling you for a very long time, treats you like family because they want to make you a customer for life. You won't get a better deal on a Ford anyplace. No bait and switch, no phony deals, no BS, just fantastic prices that are absolutely unbeatable. Armstrong Ford of Homestead, they're at 30725 South Dixie Highway, just 20 minutes south of the 836. Check them on the wicked web, ArmstrongCars.com, or give David Rich a call at 305-247-5112 and ask him to come and pick your ass up and get that $1,500 toward your purchase right now. Drive a little and save thousands at Armstrong Ford of Homestead.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
.44 at 560 WQM, but we get any information on the condition of the Mac Arena because it says here Panthers and the Rangers at the Mac Arena on Wednesday night. Game is on. Your Florida Panthers, who are really disappointing me. Of course, Joe Nieuwendyk is perpetually injured, and they just don't score no goals. But other than that, 768 votes on the poll. I think we go for 900. What do you say?
All right.
Got a shot. What do you say, Josh? 900, we can do it.
Yeah, we can do it.
You don't sound real enthusiastic, though.
Yeah.
We can do it! For anybody who missed the early part of the show, that's one of the classic lines in History of Mankind. If you were listening on Friday and you heard Miguel and Josh and I debating the pros and cons of body wash, and I guess we all agree now that, although Miguel even said he uses like half and half because he still likes dropping the soap now and then. But we agreed pretty much on the body wash. But the way you apply it, that seemed to be the greatest cause of constipation and consternation.
Not really. I'm happy with the way I clean myself.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. And George will agree with you, though. It'll be 3 against 1. Yeah,
well, they do have, what are those things called? The a loofah thing.
It's like a glorified sponge. These guys would tell me it's loofah, but it's L-E-E-A.
No, there's a loofah.
Yeah.
But then there's a new product based on the loofah called the Leafa.
Yeah, that's the one I got. L-E-A-F-A.
I'm gonna get me something like that. It's not a scrunchie. It doesn't look gay at all. It just looks like a sponge.
Unless you get the pink one like I got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a pink one. What's up with that?
I only got the pink one because that's the only one they had on the hook in there. What do I care what color it is, you know?
My wife's got a pink one, too.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about it. And?
Nothing. I'm going to get me a Leafa.
There you go. So in other words, Josh, you're starting to be in there with Miguel. So Miguel this morning came in and finally admitted to Josh Cordes that he did use his girlfriend, his wife. I'm sorry, I'm not sure whether it was his wife's or his girlfriend. His wife's squeegee there with his body wash. Was it this morning?
Last night's pink loofah.
The pink loofah.
A scrunchie.
And when he finished with that shower, he felt like he had washed every ounce of masculinity off his body.
Went right down the drain there.
Oh, that is so... Incredible. That's the word I'm looking for. Just typical, though. Absolutely typical. I mean, if you want to do a psychological study on this macho hang-up of Latinos, man, it is just positively...
Absolutely.
Staggering. Including the majority of your people, by the way, who'll do anything that's living, even like a fire ant.
It would explain a lot.
Yeah.
Those
anyway.
T-shirts, those.
So thanks to David
shirts.
in Tampa, Paxson CEO resigns as part of deal with NBC Universal. Now, do I really want to read this whole thing? I don't really care about this.
It's just FYI.
Paxson Communications Corporation founder and chief executive, the unctuous Bud Paxson, is resigning today from the broadcast network and television station operator. He'll be succeeded as CEO by R. Brandon Burgess, an executive vice president of General Electric's NBC Universal, which owns 32% stake in Paxson. As part of the new agreement with Paxson, NBC Universal has 18 months to either acquire the company or find a third party to buy Paxson. This guy's just swimming in money. He's just a total phony baloney, and just although we had some interesting times working there, you know. I don't totally regret those few months with Paxson.
It was interesting. It was a 1 year solid, wasn't it?
No, 1 year solid, my ass. We started there in November of whatever year that was. What year was it? 91.
No,
whenever Cox sold IOD. We started there in whatever year that was. No, it was more than that, 95?
Yeah, way later.
Because we've been 8 years at this dump. So like 96? Who knows when it was? It's not important what year it was. You started November, and then in May was the end.
I don't know about that.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
May.
I'll take your word for it.
May or June. Because I remember I was on the way to the airport. We're on the way to Rome, going on vacation, and I had that frantic message on the Rick and Sud show from Norma Kent, and call me if you're listening, and blah, 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 blah. And I call him from the airport, and, yeah, you're okay, you're golden, you're out for 7 months. Well, let's see, do the math. May to June, July, August, September, October, November, December, yeah. It was the end of May 30 till like the end of December, 7 months. That I had the non-compete, so they paid me for 7 months not to come back. And I went,
all right.
Oh, yeah. Boy, everybody in their lifetime should get one of those deals. Get paid for 7 months for not having to work.
Oh, yes.
And get paid a lot. I mean, a lot. Although I had to pay for it myself, though. That time I had to go drive to the station to pick up my check, remember?
Yeah.
Had that little incident there on the curve around there, the exit off of the turnpike there going to Joe Robbie, the stadium exit.
Yep, banged up your head.
Banged up my head a little bit, and then you slipped me there to that hospispecial there.
Yeah. With all the
and my make-believe doctor back then said, it should be your worst problem. Remember him? Don't mention his name.
I won't.
Oh, the doctor who always had that good supply on hand. 775 votes on the poll, and O.J. being chased on the freeways got one already. I told you that thing would go zooming up there, didn't I? Well, I don't know. I guess people are more interested in the first time they got laid as opposed to like O.J. being chased on the freeway. And the 9/11 attack. See, this is all a timeline kind of thing. In fact, if JFK was shot, 146 is in third place. Now, you'd have to be, that was November 22nd, 63. That's 37 and 42 years ago. So you probably would have to be, 47? Do you remember that?
Okay.
More than that.
I'll take your word for it.
About 50? Well, no, how old do you have to be to remember it? A little kid. If you were a little kid, then you wouldn't remember it.
Nope.
I'd say you'd probably have to be like 6 or 7, maybe. Say 7. So, I mean, you had to be about 50. Well, that's okay. We got a lot of old farts out there, too. And, of course, in my case, see, I can no longer call people old farts when you get to be 63. The only good part of it is on Friday, Hank told me he was 65, which I thought he was 64. I know he was the oldest old Jew fart on the station, but he's 65. And Mo is a year younger than I am, so he's 62. Now, all we need to do now is find out the post-60s group, how old Eddie K is. Anybody have any idea?
No.
He's definitely 60-something.
You think?
Ed Kaplan? Get out of here. Are you crazy? You don't think he's at least 60?
He looks late 50s, but what do I know?
Late 50s, my ass. You want to bet on it? Eddie will tell you the morning line.
The overs and unders?
Somebody there knows. Somebody who knows how old Eddie K is. Maybe Eddie is listening. I doubt it. Call in and let us know how old you are. It's the 60-plus club. We're a bunch of old Jews. Oy. How do you like that, Joel Feinberg?
Huh?
Man, what a jerk. Did you actually get to see the hour by hour? Did they leave those for you?
No, I don't think so.
All I can tell you is because they did like the 10 to 2 extrapolation, which we kicked ass, and a lot of their hours began with with that number. It was kind of embarrassing.
For the Islanders, and Carlisle for Toronto gives to Glennie, stolen by Harris.
Oh boy, Billy Harris. That was the late great Dan Kelly there from KMOX in St. Louis. Inside the bunker from the Guardian UK, his administration has become its own republic of fear, and Bush is a prisoner to the right. Right, Sidney Blumenthal. Do I have time to read this? Yes. It's not real long, and the story either. 1 year after his re-election, President Bush governs from a bunker. We go forward with complete confidence, he proclaimed in his second inaugural address. He urged our youngest citizens to see the future in the determined faces of our soldiers, to choose between evil and courage. But as he listened that day, Vice President Dick Cheney knew the election had been secured by a cover-up. I would have wished nothing better, declared Patrick Fitzgerald in his press conference of October 28th, announcing the indictment of I. Lewis Scooter Libby, the Vice President's Chief of Staff, that when the subpoenas were issued in August 2004, witnesses testified then, and we would have been here in October 2004 instead of October 2005. No one would have went to jail. The indictment documents that Cheney confirmed the identity of Valerie Plame to him. The indictment also describes the figure called Official A, subsequently disclosed to be Karl Rove, the president's chief political advisor, who informed Libby that he told the conservative columnist Robert Novak of Plame's status. The next day, Libby conferred with Cheney on how to handle the matter. That very day, Libby revealed Plame's identity to 2 reporters. Then Libby falsely testified that he learned Plame's name from reporters. On September 30th, 2003, President Bush emphatically stated that he wanted anyone in his administration with information about the Plame leak to come forward. On June 10th, 2004, he pledged that anyone on his staff who leaked Plame's name would be fired at it. When the Libby indictment was announced, Bush and Cheney praised him as a fine public servant. Still under investigation, Rove remains in the West Wing. But Cheney knew during the presidential campaign that he discussed with Libby how to deal with Plame. Now Bush knows that Rove had enabled Robert Novak to publish her identity. But the president's promise to fire officials is suddenly inoperative. Libby's alleged cover-up was undertaken in the spirit of neoconservative Leninism. Any tactic is rationalized by the vanguard, which sets all policy and uses the party as its instrument. If he had testified truthfully in October 2004, the result would have consumed the final days of the campaign. His Leninist logic permitted him to protect the Republican cause, but has tainted Bush's victory in history. Bush took his 2004 win as a resounding mandate for a right-wing agenda. With each right turn, however, his popularity declined. Iraq acted as an accelerator of his fall. His nomination of Harriet Miers for the Supreme Court was an acknowledgment of his sharply narrowed political space. While the Republican masses supported him, the Leninist right staged a revolt. In Bush's cronyism and opportunism, they saw his deviation. With the prosecutor's indictment imminent, Bush withdrew Miers' name. Broadly unpopular, he could not suffer a split right. His new nominee, federal judge Samuel Alito, a reliable sectarian, is a tribute to his bunker strategy. Hostage to his failed fortune, Bush is a prisoner of the right. His administration has become its own Republic of Fear. Libby's trial will reveal the administration's political methods. Cheney, along with a host of others, will be called to testify. Whatever other calamities may befall Bush, their specter harries him to the right. Disunity, disillusion, and vacillation are hallmarks of the path of conciliation, as Lenin wrote in What Is to Be Done. The vanguard on the path of struggle, criticized for being an exclusive group, must oppose any retreat proposed by the opportunist rear guard. We're surrounded on all sides by enemies, and we have to advance almost constantly under their fire. Not looking good for the Bush Meister, I'll tell you that. Looking really bad. In fact, tomorrow's election day, right? It's election day for a big governor's race in Virginia. Nothing too important around it. In fact, oh boy, wouldn't it be great if this was like 2006?
Wouldn't it be?
We'd be like, have ants in our pants and do the fat dance. 791 votes. I bet if I refresh it, it's close to 800 right now. 794. We got a chance at 900 during showtime today. And considering the fact that at 6 o'clock this morning, FP&L still had 176,400 households with no power in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. That is absolutely unacceptable. Outrageous. I don't understand why there's not a class action suit against them. And you ought to be a part of it. You ought to sue their ass.
Yeah. Where do I sign?
What are you chuckling about when I say that? Why not?
Because
why not?
Why do you hate America? That's why not.
It was in large part their negligence on the polls and the whole song and the dance that caused so much of this power to be out, and for so long, too. For people like you to suffer and get sick.
Yeah, everyone got sick. Everyone in the house.
Like I said, I was saying that all day, both days, that I was confident that everybody in the house was sick as a dog.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like a fight. Who's going to get up and go do something, you know? And everybody's fighting about who gets to go do it.
106,700 households in Broward, 62,100 in Dade County, and only 7,600 in Palm Beach. 176,400 still as of 6 this morning sitting there in the dark, wondering if Florida plunder and loot will ever come to their rescue. Hold your breath. They're telling us 95% by the end of the day tomorrow. 95%. 802 votes on the poll. Man, I can smell it now, you know what? I can smell that 900. It smells just like Josh Friedman.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
So, this is Arnold. This is not a tumor. It's the 1 to 2 hour.
He jumped on Oprah's couch, and then he jumped on Katie Holmes. Scientologists never use birth control. Highway to the diaper zone. Right into the diaper zone.
fairy.
Tomcat is going to the diaper zone.
Oh, anyway, remember last week, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday before he went out sick, and I was trying to think of the name of a movie that Alec Baldwin was in?
Gaslight.
The Cooler.
Okay.
The Cooler with William H. Macy, which was so highly touted, and then I was going to go out and get it, and then I saw it was on a cable that next night, and I realized I'd already seen it, and it was, I don't know. You don't want to see it.
All right, I won't. Did you watch Monsters Ball yet?
No.
Okay.
You were going to send that to me, you never did.
I gave it to Brian to send to you.
Well, he never sent it. He sent me a picture of his house after the hurricane, which was like, not too bad, and he sent me the disc. Didn't send me no Monsters balls, though. He didn't even send me Moe's third ball.
I think I gave it to him to send you.
Well, I doubt it. That Alzheimer's are kicking it again. Anyway, Alec Baldwin he was good. He was very good. He beat the crap, just beat the living snot out of William H. Macy's kid in that movie, in The Cooler. But I don't know, maybe you would enjoy it. I'm not really sure.
Well, if it comes
Josh will go out and buy it for you.
Yeah.
814 votes on that poll today. We're going to make our 900 by 2 o'clock. And then Tom Jicha is going to write a big headline in the Sun-Sentinel tomorrow on the front page. Neil Rogers Show makes 900 votes on right after the hurricane. Listen, he didn't have to mention my name. He didn't have to mention anybody's name. But at least he could have said the staff at QAM and IOD or whatever, right? Could have given us a little credit, the radio people, but no. And this shows again where he's coming from. That's all he knows is television.
Right.
Either television on his television or television on his radio. Maybe he's getting television audio on his pop-up toaster. Maybe there's even television coming out of Tom's. Who the hell knows?
I think you need to come to terms with that.
With what?
The fact that he doesn't care about radio anymore.
Oh,
hasn't for
well,
a
I
long
know
time.
that.
Well,
And I know another thing about him, too.
He's bloody stupid!
I know that. And he's good buddies with Hank, which you notice when I really enjoy doing that because I know Hank kind of squirms in the chair. Like this story about Pete Rose Jr. I actually saved it. You want to know why?
Why?
Probably Hank will call in sick now. Well, it's okay. I can save the story because every time I bring up Pete Rose, he's got like I don't know what kind of dealings he's got with him. Probably they share the same bookie or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
But every time I bring that up, he gets kind of uncomfortable and changes the subject. And starts talking about Mo or some crap like that. I mean, what would you rather, trash Pete Rose or Mo? Well, I'm asking the wrong guys.
Yeah.
I thought that Josh did that was a nice thing he did, nice gesture. He did in a very gentlemanly way, very in the spirit of cooperation and friendship and extending the olive branch.
I agree.
I don't think there were any olives on it. In fact, it was pepperoni and sausage.
That's why I was a little offended. That's a good piece right there.
Yeah, those are two nice slices there, pepperoni and from Tony's up the street. This wasn't Chef Boyardee pizza that you roll out and you smear a bunch of silly ass sauce on it.
They cook it so the sausage and the pepperoni is crispy on top. You know,
right. They really know how to do it over there at Tony's. But like I said, he wasn't hostile. He didn't say, "Oh, don't be a smart ass." But, could have been a whole bunch of responses. Maybe he just ate. See, that's a possibility, right?
Correct. Most people eat at a normal time.
Or maybe he just continues hating us like poison, which I think is much more likely, and just didn't want to be bothered, We tried. We continue trying. No matter what, we'll continue extending the olive branch and either grab it or I can snap at it. California man caught. Now, this is nothing new. I don't know why they put this story on here like this is something new and original. California man caught in the HOV lane with a dummy.
Okay.
Well, years ago, when they first started with that, I don't have that. You have the cart where Rick Weaver says, "You dummy." I don't have that. I do have this.
He is on Queer Street right now.
I have that. No, but when they started with the HOV lane in Florida on the interstate, there were people doing that. In fact, I think that some of the guys were putting their blow-up doll there in the passenger seat. San Rafael, California. Say what you want about police officers. What?
I could never charge for an autograph. You dummy.
Oh, was he great or what? We sure miss Rick Weaver, man. There was the voice of the Dolphins. Make no mistake about it. He was no Jimmy Syphilis. Oh, I bet you Jimmy had a great call in that game yesterday. What do you think, Josh?
Considering I heard 1 minute of it.
Oh, you actually did hear a minute of it. And? Is he making any strides?
Not by my 1 minute.
No. Hey, Jimmy, you suck, baby. Hey, Jimmy Syphilis.
You fairy.
Say what you want about police officers, but they're no dummies. The California Highway Patrol gave Kevin Morgan, 28, of Petaluma, a $351 citation for driving in a high-occupancy vehicle, or HOV lane, with a kickboxing dummy propped up in the passenger seat.
You dummy.
The dummy was wearing a Miami Dolphin. Oh, the Dolphin was wearing a Miami Dolphins windbreaker and baseball cap. But Officer Will Thompson noticed that the passenger had no legs. When I looked inside his window, I thought, "Oh, that's cute," Thompson said. I didn't even ask him where he got it. I think he was pretty embarrassed because all the people driving by were laughing their ass off, he said. Thompson often parks next to a carpool lane and stands on his car door rail to look down into passing vehicles. His point of view allowed him to see the legless dummy. I think about the only thing he said was, "Well, that didn't help me very much today, did it?" Thompson said. I said, "No, it didn't." Thompson then placed the dummy on a freeway shoulder to deter other commuters from similar schemes.
Oh, man,
That's great.
Fun.
Wearing a Dolphins cap and a Dolphins windbreaker. Oh, how perfect.
Maybe
it was Gus Farad.
statement.
Maybe it should have been Gus Farad. Hey, listen, when you continue with all the trash, all the old boiled over, warmed over, from Jay Fiedler to AJ Touchy-Feely and Gus Farad, this is their idea of a quarterback, okay? How are you going to build a winning organization, no matter how great your defense is or anything else you got going, or your running game, when you got no quarterback, huh? Does it take a genius? Even George knows that. Even George hates sports like, he hates spectator sports like poison. Even George knows if you don't have a good quarterback, you're not going to win squat. Even you know that.
Right. What's the point? You got to start with that.
That Gus Farad blows.
That's what I hear.
No, that you're confusing him with Peyton Manning now. 828 votes on that poll, man. We are going to kick some serious ass by 2 o'clock. You watch. In spite of Tom Jicha. We hate you, Tom. WQAM, hello. QAM.
Hey.
Yes, sir.
Some new information was just released about those 2 cheerleaders that were caught in a can.
Yeah.
One of them was getting a brown finger.
Well, he's right. That is some good information.
Rhymes with Huzinga. That was great.
Oh, remember those?
I don't think so.
Zingers?
I think he had the wrong color. But nevertheless, how about the color of money? How about the color purple? 5670560. We'll intersperse some of these great calls here. Oh, I got a good story that you would like. A good article by Katrina Vanden Heuvel about Wal-Mart. Since you hate them like
Katrina,
poison.
right?
Oh, there's my phone again. Boy, I'll tell you, the packages are showing up like crazy here today.
Maybe that's that
phone in the
present
back?
you didn't want.
Oh, you think that's what it is?
Maybe.
I was hoping it was my my humidifier that I ordered online. I'll tell you something. I really like ordering stuff online now.
Yeah, it's great, especially when it gets there.
Yeah. Oklahoma high school hoops team loses 112-2. This was a nail-biter. Earlsboro, Oklahoma. The Hannah High School basketball team can take some consolation. It didn't get shut out. It did, however, lose 112-2 on Friday night to Earlsboro. It was embarrassing to watch, Earlsboro coach Jim Walling told the Oklahoman, but you can't just tell your kids not to score. I've been coaching 27 years, never been involved in something like this. The Wildcats led 42-0 after one quarter, 73-2 at halftime. Walling pulled his starters in the second half. Oh, that was nice of him. And game officials kept a running clock, stopping it only for free throws. Each player in Earlsboro's 10-man boys roster scored. 7 players finished in double figures. 112-2. Let's hear it. I bet you even, what's his name, Gus Farad couldn't play a game like that of any sport. What do you think?
No.
833 vote on the poll. Here's what we got so far. Look at that. Boats on fire at Marina and Glen Cove in Long Island.
In other news.
Oh, okay. 833 votes. Oh, there's that guy in Houston who was on a bicycle and drunk as a skunk. See, people are probably thinking, boy, this guy was pretty clever to escape off death row like that, right? Yeah. I guess they're not quite so clever as we thought.
A state away from where he had escaped, and our Keith Oppenheim is in Houston, Texas, where authorities still have many questions.
Yeah, a lot of questions. Like how, and of course you recall that Ted Bundy there. Now I can never get it straight in my mind. Was it in Salt Lake City? Where was it? What jail was he in? Where he just walked? They left him in the room alone. He walked out the window, opened up the window, walked out, and just disappeared.
Every time I hear about something like that, I want to say Florida.
No, it was not.
Okay.
No, this was like out. And in fact, this may have been in the Northwest, up in Seattle or wherever the hell he was originally from.
Don't know.
Well, work on it. 833 vote. Which of these three things stands out most in your memory? Where were you when the 9/11 attack took place? 345. When I first got laid, 218. When JFK was shot, 154. Hurricane Andrew struck Florida, 49. The Challenger exploded, 44. Bill Clinton was impeached, 6. The O.J. verdict was announced, 5. Bobby Kennedy was shot, 5. O.J. was being chased on the freeway, 4. Martin Luther King was shot, 2. And Ronnie Reagan was shot, solamente uno. And that probably was Nancy.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 5.
Nice rest, Nancy.
All right.
I can't get over what that Huey said today. He's got a lot of toy to talk about me that way. I don't give a crap what that Barry has to say. If he wants to smoke pink cigars, then let him. Why, I'll have you know, I know what I'm talking about. Every morning at the condo, I take the elevator down, and on my way to the car, when I pull my folding basket out, I grab a free condo paper. The toys are back in town. The toys are back in town. The toys are back in town.
The toys are back in
I said the toys are back in town. Why, you little... Ah, my God, along, you sport old fool. I know everything that's going on in the news. Why, I even know all the new Mahjong rules. I'm hip to the jive, Daddy-O.
Too bad they're going down today. It's a better show when I take your place. I know I ain't no Ed Toilet, but when they drop, my voice will change.
You little smoothie.
.117 at 560 WQM. We got 850 votes on our poll today. Where were you when? Where were you? And maybe they were in the tea room at the Banana Joe's. Think?
Possibly.
Maybe that's why they got that purple finger. I thought that meant you just voted in Iraq.
Was it purple?
It's been a tough year for Wal-Mart, says Katrina Vanden Heuvel, and things are about to get tougher. And George says,
all right.
Last Tuesday at the world premiere of Robert Greenwald's Wal-Mart, The High Cost of Low Price, SEIU chief Andy Stern declared, this isn't just the premiere of a movie, it's the premiere of a movement. You can almost smell it. During the week of November 13 to 19, that's next week, over 3,000 screenings of the film are planned in all 50 states and 19 countries. Throughout Walmart Week, the two largest groups opposing the retail behemoth's practices, Walmart Watch and Wake Up Walmart, are planning an unprecedented series of actions. Aren't you ecstatic?
Thrilled.
Almost makes it worthwhile going through all that hell for 2 weeks. Almost. Spiraling into PR crisis mode, the world's largest corporation has just assembled a rapid response public relations team in Arkansas, which includes former presidential advisors Michael K. Deaver of the Reagan administration and Leslie Datch of the Clinton White House. Walmart's new war room certainly has its work cut out for itself. While the movement to change Walmart has reached a fever pitch, throughout the year, Walmart Watch and Wake Up Walmart have waged a tirelessly and highly coordinated campaign. Here are some of the highlights. Innovative boycotts. Over 2,000 teachers, students, and activists in more than 20 states participated in Wake Up Walmart's national Send Walmart Back to School campaign, with the AFT and NEA urging students to buy school supplies at stores other than Walmart. Over 20,000 Americans pledged not to buy their Mother's Day gifts at Walmart, thanks to Wake Up Walmart's Love Mom, Not Walmart campaign. Make Walmart Care About Healthcare campaign. Wake Up Walmart helped coordinate more than 120 house parties in 38 states. I wonder if Art Linkletter was at any of them. Which led to over 150 actions encouraging legislators to crack down on Walmart's healthcare policy. Thanks largely to pressure from Wake Up Walmart supporters, Representative Anthony Weiner, Senator Ted Kennedy, and Senator John Corzine introduced the Health Care Accountability Act in Congress, which would require states to disclose the names of large employers whose workers are on Medicaid as a result of the company's refusal to provide insurance benefits. The Fair Share Health Care Act. Representatives of Wake Up Walmart and Walmart Watch lobbied Maryland's legislature and helped pass the first legislation in the nation that would require large companies, specifically Walmart, to pay for health benefits for its employees. Although Republican Governor Robert Ehrlich vetoed the bill, the movement to get such legislation passed other states has just begun. Over 2,000 Wake Up Walmart supporters have pledged to lead the fight in their states to introduce fair share health care legislation. Blocking the bank. In September, Walmart Watch delivered over 11,000 signed petitions to the FDIC in opposition to Walmart's application for an industrial loan charter in Utah. According to Walmart Watch, a Utah ILC would effectively grant Walmart the ability to loan businesses and individuals money to spend in Walmart stores, violating prohibitions against the mixing of banking and commerce. The petitions have had a staggering impact on the FDIC and have significantly delayed the ILC process, says Walmart Watch spokesperson Tracy Seffel. And the leaked memo. On October 26th, Walmart Watch delivered a knockout blow to Walmart. The corporation had just made giant strides to rebuild its image, publicly declaring its intention to offer health care plans for its employees and voicing support for a federal minimum wage increase. The very next day, the New York Times published a cover story on the leaked internal memo acquired by Walmart Watch, which detailed Walmart's plans to systematically weed out unhealthy employees and applicants in order to avoid health care costs. The exposure of the memo instantly deflated Walmart's hollow attempt at an image makeover. We don't want to destroy Walmart. We want to change it to make it a decent, humane company, which it could easily do, says Chris Kafinas, communication director of Wake Up Walmart, who stresses that Walmart will be a key issue in the 2006 and 2008 campaign elections. We're not going to rest or sleep one bit until it happens. And she writes, the nation is part of a wide coalition of groups, organizations, and publications helping to generate interest in the screenings. How do you like that? You go, boys.
Yeah.
Because on this show, we hate Wal-Mart and Florida plunder and loot, not necessarily in that order.
In that order.
And today, maybe not. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. That says a lot.
I've been hating Walmart for years.
860, yeah, but they're not the ones that were responsible for your power being off until yesterday afternoon.
Aren't they?
They are?
I don't know. Of course not.
861, well, yeah, let's blame it on them. The dog done it, I think. Let's blame it on Mo. Mo done it. 861 on that poll, man. If we don't get to 900 by 2 o'clock, there'll be something really wrong. I think we can all agree that it'll be a piece of cake, right?
Right.
No brainer. And then if we make 900 today, 1,000 tomorrow. Let's get back to business, okay? I told you today was the day after 2 weeks of screwing off, although... now, let me just check and see, although I'm positive the answer will be absolutely, positively no. Let me just, out of curiosity, see if there's a new update, a 1 o'clock number on the FBO. What do you think? Any bets? And speaking of bets, we got to find out. I'm shocked that nobody came in there and said, oh, Eddie's 61, by the way, already. Nobody told you?
Well, I don't think there's anybody here.
What?
It's lunch hour.
Get out of here.
It's the lunch 2 hours.
Nobody took the trouble. What a bunch of slackers we got there, man. If we had any cooperation, if we had anybody giving us even like a little finger. I'm not talking about that one. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just a little helping hand. Very disturbing story, by the way, before I tell you about Michael Jackson's single that you're going to want to avoid buying on Katrina.
Oh, gee, I was just going to run out there and get it.
Yeah. Go to Wal-Mart and get it.
I'll get 10.
How's that sound? There's no 1 o'clock. The FBI secret scrutiny. Now, this is a very long story, which I think Josh would agree with. Let me ask you a question. When you put these stories on there, the length of the story, I mean, this story is like, how do you do this? Or you don't?
What do you mean?
Well, this story is 10 pages long.
Yeah, I know. I remember it.
And you had to go through the whole 10 pages?
That's right.
Boy. Well, see, what did you make up for this weekend, for slacking off for the weekend? Now you got your internets back. The FBI secret scrutiny. Now, I could be an idiot and read all 10 pages and we wouldn't have anybody listening. I'm just going to read the first part and then maybe it'll tantalize you. You'll be pissed off enough to read the rest of it online because it's very long, but it's also very scary, even though Halloween is over. I must confess I'm eating a little bit of a snack here during the show, which is bad.
We can tell. That's all right.
You can tell?
What is it? Sure, you're smacking a little bit.
I'm what?
You're smacking your lips a little bit.
Oh, I'm smacking it? Alpine Lace Swiss Cheese Light.
That's good stuff.
It's good. Swiss Cheese Light. And I really don't know because I don't buy into that, as you know, I don't buy into that anti-fat, that low-fat crap.
Right.
It's all a bunch of lies. But this just happens to taste really good. I don't know what it is about it. And if I'm going to get fat, I'll get it from the bratwurst. Boy, there ain't nothing like a good bratwurst, I'll tell you that. Anyway, here's the story. That'd be a good time to read it with my mouth full of cheese. Why not?
Do it.
The FBI secret scrutiny in Hunt for Terrorists, Bureau examines records of ordinary Americans by Barton Gelman of the Washington Post. The FBI came calling in Windsor, Connecticut this summer with a document marked for delivery by hand. On Mattionic Avenue across from the tennis courts, 2 special agents found their man. They gave George Christian the letter which warned him to tell no one ever what it said. Under the shield and stars of the FBI crest, the letter directed Christian to surrender all subscriber information, billing information, access logs of any person who used a specific computer at a library branch some distance away. Christian, who manages digital records for 36 Connecticut libraries, said in an affidavit that he configures the system for privacy. But the vendors of the software he operates said their databases can reveal the websites that visitors browse, the email accounts they open, and the books they borrow. Christian refused to hand over those records, and his employer, Library Connection Inc., filed suit for the right to protest the FBI demand in public. The Washington Post established their identities, still under seal in the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, by comparing unsealed portions of the file with public records and information gleaned from people who had no knowledge of the FBI demand. The Connecticut case affords a rare glimpse of an exponentially growing practice of domestic surveillance under the USA Patriot Act,
oh my God,
which marked its 4th anniversary October 26th. National security letters created in the 70s for espionage and terrorism investigations originated as narrow exceptions in consumer privacy law, enabling the FBI to review in secret the customer records of suspected foreign agents. The Patriot Act, the Bush administration guidelines for its use, transformed those letters by permitting clandestine scrutiny of U.S. residents and visitors who are not alleged to be terrorists or spies. The FBI now issues more than 30,000...
About 30, man.
...national security letters a year, according to a government source, a 100-fold increase over historic norms. The letters, one of which can be used to sweep up the records of many people, are extending the Bureau's reach as never before to the telephone calls, correspondence, and financial lives of ordinary Americans. All of these things. Issued by FBI field supervisors, national security letters don't need the imprimatur of a prosecutor, grand jury, or judge. They receive no review after the fact by the Justice Department or Congress. The executive branch maintains only statistics which are incomplete and confined to classified reports. The Bush administration defeated legislation and a lawsuit to require public accounting and has offered no example in which the use of a national security letter helped to disrupt a terrorist plot. The burgeoning use of national security letters coincides with an unannounced decision to deposit all the information they yield into government data banks and to share those private records widely in the federal government and beyond. In late 2003, the Bush administration reversed a long-standing policy requiring agents to destroy their files on innocent American citizens, companies, and residents when investigations closed. Late last month, President Bush signed Executive Order 13388, expanding access to those files for state, local, and tribal governments and for appropriate private sector entities which are not defined. All of these things. And that's all I'm going to read. It goes on for 10 pages, but it'll make you pee your pants a lot.
Chillin'.
Yeah. And all your children will pee too.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Watch boobs and butts and boinking.
Right, you're off. Fire! You can't break me ever again. You're off limits to my shapely rear end. And that's the directive issued by choice. And unless, of course, I can pick my own little boys. Now all I got to do is to put a stop to the toys. One more toy out of you when you're on a move. Up and down, inside and out. You better get your mitts off the merchandise now.
You're an old fool. You think you're so cool. Take off your second pants so I can hear you say,
I got nothing to lose since my virginity's lost, so give me back my baggy blue shorts. Why, I'll show you who's the boss. Let's get back to the sanctity of sports.
And speaking of, don't forget the Mole Man himself at 2, Mad Dog at 4. At 7 o'clock, it's Curtis Stevenson. 10 o'clock, it's Ancient Eddie K, who is years old. Right. I would say 61.
Okay.
And you would say like 57?
Like 58.
Okay. And Josh? Let's have an office pool.
I'm going with 60.
There you go.
Nice.
So we got 58, 60, and 61.
All right.
I'll find out.
In order to be part of our club, though, he's got to wait till his 60th birthday. So I hope for his sake, the Old Jews Club, the OJC. I thought it was the Ontario Jockeys Club, the OJC. The Old Jews Club on QM. We're old and we're Jewish. How do you like that, Joel Feinberg? You quisling.
You fairy.
Yeah, big deal. And we're kicking your fat ass, okay, with all your daddy's money. You couldn't go out there and buy an audience if you handed out $1,000 bills on the street corner. Give it a shot, Joel. Might as well. Better than giving the 3 and 5 Dolphins $4.5 million a year for the rights to broadcast to squeak your way through those games. Jimmy Syphilis. Rumor I'm hearing is that Jimmy is just about on the verge of losing it. Jimmy.
You fairy.
Terrible. They were intrigued by the idea of pairing 2X Dolphin. Yeah, great. How about putting a real broadcaster on there? Even Jim Sarney, a little sarcastic comment a few weeks ago about all these different people they got on there. Now all they need is a real play-by-play guy. Even Sarney, who is usually mum, scared of his own shadow, don't want to say anything. Even he threw a little shot. But I'm sure that Barry he'll be writing, every game Jimmy's getting better and better on our sister station. Even those 2 cheerleaders from the Carolina Panthers don't have an incestuous relationship like Barry Jackass and the Herald, okay? Even those 2 sisters that were diddling whatever they were doing, trying to figure out life. That's what they were doing in there, okay?
You know how girls always go to the bathroom together?
Yeah, they're powdering their knob.
Right.
898 votes, man. We're like right on the verge of 900. We'll do that easy. Probably should have made it like 950, but we're not going to do it, though. Don't keep pushing and pushing and pushing. When you get, it's like at Woodbine. You get ahead a couple thousand, you walk to the door, you say, have a nice day, goodbye.
Just walk away.
That's it. Don't push it. Well, that was nice when they gave me $525. What a shock. Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
Of course, I could lose that in about 20 minutes on a cold machine man, but nevertheless. Michael Jackson is close to completing his charity single for Hurricane Katrina relief and hopes to release the song sometime this month, his spokeswoman said late last week, from his new base in the Middle East. Oh, man. Seriously, he's living in Dubai now, where all them rich ragheads are.
Okay.
Probably doing like a lot of raghead children. Well, he probably read that in Saudi Arabia, for example, if over 50% of the population is under 15, and if he could read that they're under 12, then he'll really be there forever. Anyway, he's been working through global satellite and phone connections with the 12 recording artists who are participating. Oh, this is another one of those, we are the world, oh, another one of those deals. Boy, if you poor bastards in New Orleans can just hang on long enough, all that remains is for 2 or 3 more artists to do their tracks, and Michael will then add his vocals, Bain said in the phone interview. He's now on the fast track, and we're happy with the progress. Last week, Jackson coordinating recording sessions with artists who were visiting L.A. for the Black Entertainment Television Awards and went to studios to record their parts. Meredith O'Sullivan, a spokeswoman for rapper Snoop Dogg, and Sonia Muckle, who represents singer R. Kelly, said that artists have participated in the recording session. Well, R. Kelly likes them young, too, just he likes girls, and Michael likes little boys. So there's a little something for everybody in this.
They don't have to fight.
Jackson's the writer and producer of the track. In fact, maybe they can bring each other's like boyfriends and girlfriends over for like a party, a free-for-all. She added that Jackson has rewritten the song several times and is changing the title from the original From the Bottom of My Heart to a new undisclosed title. How about From the Top of My Part? Jackson found out he didn't need as many artists to participate as originally planned. The final tally was about 12. Jackson's plan is to provide disaster aid through 3 funds: the Bill Clinton George Bush Katrina Fund, the Poosh Excel Hurricane Katrina College Relief Fund, and a disaster fund set up by the National Association of Recording Arts and Science. Isn't that great? Out there in Dubai.
Yeah, Wonder Bar.
Over there in Dubai, where they wear all them schmatzes, which makes for much faster access because they probably wear nothing underneath. Like the Scottish with them kilts.
I love it.
Oh, they killed me. So let me ask you, what did Camilla Parker, Dogface, and Charles, what did they solve when they were here last week?
Oh, big distraction.
Oh, is that what it was?
24/7 coverage, yeah.
Big ears. I don't know how much of the distraction. Big ears.
And then we had to talk about all of her outfits. Every one. We had to break it down.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, this was velvet. It looked frumpy.
She is. If there was ever a Dogface, man, she's the one. Miami Company's cruise ship attacked by pirates off Somali coast.
Arr.
Did you see this?
Yeah, it's funny.
Now, maybe it's only me because I didn't see the Johnny Depp movie, Pirates. What was the movie he was in with the pirate movie?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
I didn't see that. But I must be honest, other than in Pittsburgh, I didn't know we had pirates anymore. I guess I'm just out of the loop,
yeah,
like Jicha would say. I'm out of touch.
As a matter of fact, this goes back when I came down here initially to go on a sailing trip with my stepfather, and I had bought a riot shotgun specifically for the potential for pirates because we were going to be going to unsavory places potentially, but we never.
The potential for pirates?
Pirates everywhere in the Caribbean. You know, Pirates of the Caribbean. In case you haven't noticed, but I know that you have, sometimes some of those islands are home to scummy people.
No kidding.
No.
Home to scummy people?
Yeah, man.
Oh, no.
I scat you not.
I'll be damned.
Probably. And they will get in the little boat, whatever they can.
Nice job, Brownie Brown, by the way.
And they'll try to, hijack you. And then
pirates fired a rocket-propelled grenade and machine gun Saturday. And then here's another reason not to go on those stupid cruises. I've been begging you people, don't do it if you value your life. They fired a rocket-propelled grenade and machine gun Saturday in an attack on a luxury cruise liner off the East African coast. 2 armed vessels approached the Seabourn Spirit about 100 miles off the coast of Somalia and fired as the occupants attempted to get on board, said Bruce Good, a spokesman for Miami-based Seabourn Cruise Line, a subsidiary of Carnival Corp. Carnival Corp.
Oh, my God.
No other vessel belonging to the company has been previously attacked by pirates. However, the Spirit's crew was trained to handle the threat. They trained for various scenarios, including people trying to get on the ship that you don't want on the ship, he said. The ship outran the pirates and changed its course. Oh, this is exciting. Our suspicion at this time is that the motive was theft, Good said. The attackers never got close enough to board the Spirit, but one member of the 161-person crew was injured by shrapnel. At least 3 rocket-propelled grenades hit the ship, according to an email sent to the British Broadcasting Corporation by a Seattle woman who said she was traveling on the ship with her daughter and a friend. My daughter saw the pirates out our window. There were at least 3 rocket-propelled grenades that hit the ship, one in the stateroom. They wrote an email posted on the BBC website. We had no idea the ship could move as fast as it did, and the captain did his best to run down the pirates. This sounds like something from the Stone Age. The vessel's 151 passengers, mostly Americans with some Australians and Europeans, were gathered in the lounge for their safety, Good said. None were injured. Thanks God. The Spirit had been bound for Mombasa, Kenya at the end of a 16-day voyage from Alexandria, Egypt. Can you believe it?
I can't.
It was expected to reach the Seychelles in the... How do you say those islands?
I don't know.
Seychelles in the Indian Ocean on Monday, then continue its previous schedule to Singapore. The company typically offers the Egypt-Kenya cruise once a year. The 10,000-ton cruise ship registered in the Bahamas sustained minor damage, company officials said. They took some fire, but it's safe to sail. It's good to go, as they used to say back in the day, huh?
All right.
Good to go. 907 votes. We're good to go. We're golden, man. We're doing it.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Talk about your Teflon presidents. You ain't kidding. Goodbye, George. You gotta go, me oh my oh. You gotta go home 'cause you f***ed up bad on the bio.
Absolutely.
But you sure flew quick when it came to sick Terry Schiavo. Son of a bush, here's a foot in your tush, now say goodbye, yo. Ta-ta, Georgia. While people drowned, you played a round of relaxing golf. Well, he was on vacation. Priorities are not your cup of tea, that's evident. Oops. And no one cared to even prepare for the worst scenario. You were the one busy having fun, and that's a no-no. You'll investigate at a later date. That's real bullshit. So think your situation. The ones that up should get locked up so it don't continue. But no one will get blamed like with Agent Flame. No heads will roll, of course. And as for this, it'll be a slap on the wrist and no charges filed. What a surprise, 'cause you're a liar. No one gets fired with each new meso. Nobody. A new death toll, a slip in the polls, that's no problemo. He'll fix it. Your spin machine will deal with New Orleans, 'cause that's their job-o. As per usual. Son of a bush, is a foot in your tush. You're an asshole. We just don't understand. You got blood on your hands, but want no blame. Oh, I'm a problem solver. You made it obvious, at least to most of us, you have no shame. Oh, shame, what's that? And what's with that smirk, you stupid jerk, when people have died? Oh, son of a beach, you should be impeached, and we mean pronto. Now do us all a favor and get the out. You hear? Jackass.
146, 14 till 2, 918 votes. We topped the 900 easy. In fact, if we'd have known that, if we'd really put a push on there, we could have done 1,000 a day, you know what?
Could have.
But then we'd have nothing to look forward to for tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, I got tomorrow's poll here, and I ordinarily don't do this. I'm not, not going to take any call, because then I'll start. But I'm just wondering about you guys, because if we're going to make 1,000, then when I put this on early, we have to have a whole bunch of them on there by 10. See what I'm saying?
All right.
Right?
Right.
You know how I do.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow's poll, someone famous you can't decide whether you like or dislike. And I got a list so far: Keith Olbermann, Neil Rogers, Rush Limbaugh, George W. Bush, Al Gore, John Kerry, John McCain, Howard David did. Somebody famous you can't decide whether you like or dislike.
All right.
And?
We'll
you got nobody?
Oh, let me think about it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about that Mo Howard David, as a matter of fact.
Really?
Because I
already got him on there, though. I don't need your help for that.
I know you don't.
I'll come up with somebody else, Josh.
Stuff.
I'll think of something.
Okay. Because then I can add him on there, and then we'll start. And plus, I'll add on more tonight. I'll put my thinking cap on. I'll put my cape on. The 6-week-long trial of a former Piper High School student accused of stabbing a classmate to death in 2002. Remember that?
Yes.
We'll have to start over. A mistrial was declared this morning in the second-degree murder trial of Kern O'Sullivan, 20. When Hurricane Wilma hit, causing the Broward County Courthouse to close for 2 weeks, the jury had already spent a few days deliberating. The courthouse reopened today. At least one of the jurors said they couldn't deliberate, that the amount of time lapse from the hurricane was just too much. George's request to Circuit Judge that's John George, one of the attorneys, to mark oath for mistrial was strengthened by another pre-Wilma episode. On the second day of deliberations, a juror was taken to a hospital in Fort Lauderdale. See, part of the margins, even after all I've done, part of the margins on this thing are like chopped up. That's the Herald, man. The Herald has got multi-problemi, if you ask me. It's not my fine computer. 922 on the poll. This is pretty impressive, if you ask me, don't you think?
It's something.
Well, hey, compared to, like last week, and of course, who the hell would be listening to us when they could be listening to the audio from TV on the radio? Don't you see how insulting that is? What a slap in the face that is?
I wonder if it's intentional.
Because of course it is. Of course, I'll tell you this. The last 2 weeks, with the exception of 2 weeks ago Monday when none of us worked, but after that, I actually felt like I was working. It was like too much like work.
Yeah, it felt like work on this end, let me tell you.
Well, yeah, you were like
half of everything not working.
Right.
And then that.
But I mean, putting all that stuff on, and every few minutes having to go back and check this website and the FP&L numbers, and and try to, because we don't have any news department, we got no news presence, we got like nothing is what we got. We got just a bunch of jock sniffers. And I thought, man, we did just okay. We did fine. And I'm sure there were a lot of people with their transistor sister and in their cars, wherever else they could find a radio that worked without electric, who were like glued to whatever the hell was going on. Without hearing the damn TV audio, we already know what they're going to say, the kind of crap that they're going to put on the air. But little Tommy, that's all he knows about it. If it's television, it's important. And I understand that television's got 80 million times the impact of radio. It's got pictures, for Christ's sakes. But give us a little bit of a credit, okay? Can't do it, Tommy, unless it's little Brian Norcross or one of the other hyperventilating weather fairies.
You fairy.
Forget about it. 9:29, we're doing just fine.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Feel on the wind when she plays tennis match. She plays pool, and all she does is scratch. But she's so hot, and so win or not, well, I get visits from her.
You fairy.
Russian babe with her own city law. She has no soul, Sergei Fedorov. And though it seems she slept with whole hockey teams, now I get their sex from her.
Absolutely.
But I get their sex from her.
You fairy.
I get lost all sex from her.
Well, we doubt that, Enrique, but I'll tell you one thing about both of them. You know who they're getting the sex from?
I give up.
Pretty much anybody they want.
Oh, yeah.
9:56. It's almost 10 o'clock. Almost time for the Neil Rogers Show. Where did that come from? 9:56. Scared you?
Yeah.
Anyway, 1:56. Now, did you guys come up with anything for the poll? Probably not. You probably thought I'd let you off the hook for old time's sake.
I was hoping you would.
Come on. Somebody you're like ambivalent about. You can't decide politician, singer, actor, actress, musician.
There's got to be a million.
Carolina cheerleader.
Well, see, this is good. One.
By the way, the cheerleaders were just in there voting.
Oh, yeah?
That explains the finger. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. You just got me all excited.
Nothing?
About them cheerleaders. No.
And Josh don't have nothing.
I'll let you know tomorrow.
Well, that isn't going to help. I'll come up with more, okay? As a matter now, you can go online, any poll ID you come up with. Maybe you've done this, and you're kind of like stuck for a really good starter list. And even though you think, well, I don't know, there's not going to be a list, and just about anything you type in here, when you Google it in, there's a list. Somebody's got a list of crap. 951, man. We did our 950 plus. This is shocking. You know what? 2 animal stories to close out. Bismarck, North Dakota. North Dakota man is served an unusually steep sentence for having an unlicensed cat, 2 days in jail. William T. Dennis, 38, was charged with failing to license his feline, which normally brings a fine, but a warrant was issued for his arrest when he didn't show up for court appearance on the charge. They got a lot of spare time in North Dakota. Dennis spent 2 days in jail before appearing in court again. He basically just received credit for time served, said Bismarck Municipal Judge Charles Isaacson. Isaacson in North Dakota? Holy cow.
Boy!
It's not spelled the right way, though. Definitely goyish. Failure to license an animal carries a fine of up to $1,000 and a possible 30-day jail sentence in Bismarck. I never thought I'd sentence somebody to 2 days in jail for this, he said. Since no situations like this are on record, I had no history to go on for sentencing. So we gave him 2 days in the slammer. Isn't that great? For not licensing his putty cat. And all you pit bull people out there, I say let's save the pit bulls and kill the owners is what I say. Carey, C-A-R-Y, Carey, Illinois. Never heard of it. Did you?
No.
A 10-year-old boy was in critical condition yesterday after 3 pit bulls escaped from a home and went on a rampage, attacking 6 people before police shot and killed the dogs. People with pit bulls. Crazy people with crazy pit bulls. No charges have been filed yesterday, but McHenry County Sheriff Keith Nygren said it was being investigated as a crime scene. Neighbors said the attack started late Saturday afternoon when children going door-to-door for a fundraiser arrived at the home of Scott Sword, 41, who owned the dogs. We had music playing. I heard this bizarre sound, said Debbie Rivera, who lived 3 houses away. I looked out the window. I saw a young boy. The dogs were just jumping on him, attacking his ass. The screams were horrible, she said. The dogs were relentless, like they were possessed. They were possessed. Let's call Father Marin when we need him. The pit bulls attacked the two children. When the dog's owner tried to stop them, the dogs turned on him and bit off his thumb.
Damn.
The boy's father also tried to protect his son and was attacked. The dogs went after another neighbor as well. The scene sprawled over a couple of blocks. It was a very chaotic scene. Residents threw rocks at the dogs, honked car horns to try to distract them from attacking before police arrived and shot the animals. Oh, thank the Lord. Jim Malone said he and a neighbor tried to beat the dogs back with baseball bats. He'd hit them, they'd run, and they'd come back again. This went on for 15 minutes. 15 minutes. The 10-year-old boy was in critical condition, by the way. 15 minutes. You know how long 15 minutes is of that?
Yeah, let's pause for 15 minutes to feel it.
How are you spelling pause?
P-A-W.
Oh.
Z.
For 959 votes on the poll, and if I had time, I'd read the whole result there, but that would be, we don't want to take none of Mo's time. Mo is coming up next, the Mad Dog at 4, Curtis from 7 to 10, and Old Eddie K, 10 o'clock tonight.
Bye, bye, bye!